government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, from Charlotte, another line going from in Florida down to Tampa of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him. The idea that Los Angeles and what am I doing here? For two reasons. One, let's be clear. I hear it all the time. Cumulative deficit, I can play for the programs many times over.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
Let me start off with two words. Made in America. Made in America.
Welcome back to another night of Shtick with Koolfrogg. Well, you know, I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm detaching from the internet at some point in time tomorrow. And I will be detached from the internet for the duration of the weekend. I'll come back Sunday night. Sunday night, I should be back for a regular episode of Shtick with Koolfrogg. Kind of excited to actually have the few days to actually take off and be able to spend with my wife and son. It's going to be a great time camping. Just super excited and letting you all know I will not be around the next couple of nights. What is up, America's shirts?
Who?
Who? What?
Who?
Let's say hello to everybody real quick. What's up, Daisy girl? Good to see you. Suzanne, hope you're doing well. Keith Gregory, what is up, brother? Good to see you. And
Yeah.
Lucky Chucky in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. I was just telling everybody how excited I am to actually be able to go on this wonderful little vacation this weekend. We're going camping.
Ooh.
Yes.
There
we're
you
going
go.
Camping and
Yeah. You remember me?
just
I suggested that
connecting.
to you a while ago. I was like, you ought to go camping with freaking Tadpole. That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember saying that. That's funny because I
Right.
remember saying that not too long ago. I was like, that would be great. You won't go out.
Yeah, I'm super excited to actually be able to get the weekend. Should be a good time. There's a nearby lake
Lots
to
of
go
s'mores.
swimming. And yeah, right. Books can be read. Relaxing. Doing whatever. Just sitting outside.
With Tadpole, you think you're going to relax outside? Holy crap.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's going to be trying to catch a ride with a flying squirrel.
I mean, if he catches a ride with a flying squirrel, good. Have fun. Just make sure you come back for dinner.
Hey, that's better than ziplining right there, you know. And it's free.
Is that a fun age for a camping trip? Yes.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, like that's the greatest. Like, because when you're younger, like that's fantastic, right?
Yes. That's the whole point of it is yes, exactly. Do things that the kids will always remember. Last weekend we did the fireworks. This weekend we're going to do camping. I think within the next few weeks we're going to actually take another trip somewhere here in South Dakota and actually stay a night. So there should be another night within the next few weeks that I'll take off and not be here. I seem to be here quite often. I enjoy it so very, very much. I love it so very much that I'd like it if you'd all hit the like button for me, smash the share button,
Ah, I see what you
subscribe if
did
you
there.
hadn't done so.
See
Just
what you
right,
did there.
make yourself over to the Rumble side. Subscribe over there just in case something happens to the YouTube side.
Because you never freaking know.
And you can go say hi to Great Liquor. What is up? Good to see you.
What's that?
So, I do have a decent lineup for a show tonight. I hope I can actually do well by everybody. What's up, boss? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Did this last night. It seemed to work out. I know I'm going to have to actually reshare a couple screens because there's a couple videos. There's a couple videos that actually show up eventually. So we'll stop sharing screen and bring that up. As you can see, plenty of tabs. We'll see if we can't make it through all those tabs here tonight. It shouldn't be an issue. From the Gateway Pundit, France has fallen. Decorated veteran officer remains in custody for trying to stop 17-year-old hoodlums. Fast and Furious rampage. So, this is why. This is why. Well, this is what's happening. This is what's going on in the world, and what's caused such turmoil in France. It says French police, Florian M., who stands accused of voluntary manslaughter in the death of 17-year-old hoodlum Nail M. Nanterre, June 27th, will remain in custody. His lawyer has demanded his client be released because he may not be safe in French prison. So, there's been several days of protests, of uproar, of rioting to go along with this particular young man in France. It seems as they took a page out of the United States playbook and how things work. Because then they're like, oh, it's a racial thing. The cops must be racist. We must go after all cops.
It's almost as though that there is a common mantra across the entire Western world, almost as though you could say, potentially, maybe allegedly, that the same people that promote that in the US also promote that in other places in the Western world. Which would mean that it's kind of a ish, maybe somewhat of a global effort, I mean, I don't know. This might be a new idea to some. Might be crazy. I don't know. But I think that's probably the most likely answer to that there.
Sure. It really, you're not far off if you are at all.
Fuck you and your New World Order.
Well,
There has to be something. It has to be something, similar to what you're getting at. What's up, Charlemagne? Good to see you, dear. Let's see here. So it says the 38-year-old officer was indicted in voluntary manslaughter after being presented to two investigating judges at the judicial court in Nanterre on June 2nd. Florian M., who has been incarcerated since last Thursday in the prison hospital after the shooting death of 17-year-old juvenile delinquent Nahel M. This Thursday, the police officer spoke at his pretrial hearing by video conference from his cell. He expressed himself calmly and clearly. The court denied his lawyer the motion to free the officer. So, not being released He will not be released, immediately. He's actually going to be held, continue to be held. It doesn't matter how calm or clear you are with, judges or whatever. It seems as judges and officers can be just as corrupt as anything, and I'm really seeing something similar to what we witnessed over the last few years happening all over. Leonard has said that his client was less than safe in detention than he would be in the public under police protection, seeming to imply the national police officer may be in danger for the criminals in prison. He called for the officers to be released by electronic bracelet. This is not the criminal drug dealer. This is a police officer, a public servant. This is someone who's obeyed the law all his life. He's not going to start breaking it tomorrow. I agree with them. They should let him out. There's no reason that he should actually be sitting with general population of incarcerated criminals that he's had a chance to come across and arrest in his past. If you want to actually charge him properly, make it safe. Make it safe so that when he does get charged, his sentence, if he gets one, matches crime. And I really don't know what France's incarceration rate is like. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the United States. Florian M. indicated that first asked, and I don't know how is it Nail to stop the vehicle while he saw him driving his high-powered rental Mercedes in a bus lane. The teenager then raced off at full speed and had to be pursued by the officer and his colleague on their motorcycles in a dangerous high-speed pursuit through Nanterre. Florian M. testified he yelled at Nail to cut the engine when he caught up with him and repeatedly hit the windshield of the car in order to attract the driver's attention. Florian M. said he was aiming his gun away from the driver in order to not hit him. At the same time, he said he saw his colleague lean his body into the passenger compartment of the Mercedes. He then felt the driver accelerate, feeling stuck between the car and the wall behind him, and fearing that his colleague would be dragged along by the driver speeding off, he opened fire. Florian M. denied having told Nail, "You're going to get a bullet in your head." The two other passengers, a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old, claimed the officers said, "Cut the engine or I'll shoot you, and I'm going to shoot a bullet in your head." That's super easy to actually come up with, different ways, different terms or whatever being used to actually get away with something and make something stick. Hands up, don't shoot. These things, come easily. Lies get exaggerated super fast. What's up, Tony? Good to see you. A video claimed to show that Nail stunt riding a motorcycle. The young man had 15-count rap sheet, including 5 instances of evading arrest and stopped without a license. Last month, he appeared in a gangster rap video, also riding a motorcycle. Florian M. is a military veteran and is received a Medal of Courage and Dedication for his actions during the kidnapping of 2021. According to BFM TV, he has received 8 letters of commendation and an internal security medal for his performance during the Yellow Vest demonstrations. On Thursday, July 6th, the Court of Appeals of Versailles confirmed that Florian M. would remain incarcerated. It's sad to actually know that this officer, is decorated as he is. It didn't really matter. Doesn't really matter what he's actually done to actually make this place a better world, or his, by doing things for his own city that are best. And yet, because of one incident where some kid decided to run from police, evade arrest in any way, shape, or form, and well, you fucked around and he found out. I really hate to put it that way, but that's really what it comes down to. Is why would you do anything to actually not listen to what the officers are asking you to do? Officer asks you to do something, you do it. They say sit down, you sit the fuck down. You don't ask questions, say where, how long, can I sit like this? No, you sit the fuck down. Listen to the officers when they're trying to arrest you, when they're trying to tell you to do something. Stop resisting. And that's what it is. It's resisting all over again.
By the way, unrelated, is this Tony in the chat the same Tony that was with us a while ago? Do you remember Tony? Something or another? Was in the Discord too? Floated around?
Not positive. Not positive.
Well, if it is, hello. Long time no see. I don't know.
Or if you're not, welcome. Glad you're here. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Do all those fun things. So, that's France. It's France. We'll kind of move on a little bit. Do some other worldly news.
The Balkan.
The Balkan, yes. U.S. and Bulgarian governments plot to overturn Montreux Convention and militarize the Black Sea. Smart. To be super smart. Very intelligent for the United States to actually go along with such a thing and militarize the Black Sea.
I'm sure that's not going to cause any, problems with any countries in particular. That kind of thing. No. That's not going to cause any problems at all.
Zero problems. What's up, Rose? Good to see you, dear.
And then, of course, NATO's reaction will be like, well, I mean, if they don't like us militarizing, well, then, well, why do they have their guns out? It's like, well, because you're militarizing. Well, see, they're militarizing. So, oh, we have to militarize more. It's like, if you would just not antagonize people, then other nations wouldn't feel as though they would feel the need to somehow put up some kind of a defense or defensive wall, right? Oh no, we have to do it. So that's going to be the whole mantra, on the thing. We can't tell the difference between Vladimir Putin and Saddam Hussein. It's going to be that same mantra over and over again on the television set, as though it's kind of that way now. But anyway, it's the same. Oh my God, everybody march to war. Huzzah, hurrah, da 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 da. All this crap and garbage.
Zahara, da 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 da. Yes. Sorry.
I try to be funny.
That is too good. The new so-called U.S. Embassy government in Bulgaria is living up to the nickname. On Monday, Bulgaria's new defense minister, Todor Teger... Why do they always have stupid names? Have a regular name.
Stupid! Well, they're Slavic.
Declared at the meeting with Bulgaria's military attaché that Bulgaria should provide forward deployment for allied forces on the Black Sea.
Hey, wait a minute, Koolfrogg. You're partially Slavic, are you not?
Even if such a move, no, not really, violates the Montreux Convention. I mean, no. Effectively, it would mean the establishment of the American naval base on the Black Sea coast. Tegerev's declaration clearly had tactic support from the U.S. Embassy, which is responsible for ruling the coalition in Sofia. Why would you ask such a weird question while I'm halfway through a paragraph?
I mean, you said it was a weird day. I'm just, I heard from a birdie somewhere, that
I
like a
guess.
certain
I
Slavic
don't
frog got together with another certain frog somewhere else, and like then you came along.
know. I don't believe that I'm considered Slavic. I don't believe that's true. But thanks for trying. How
Well, I
about
just wanted to make
Madalisa?
it sound like that you were attacking your own ancestors. That's what I was trying to get at. But I didn't really. I guess that didn't come across the way that I wanted it
Maybe,
to.
but no. The Montreal Convention, signed in 1936, prohibits the presence of foreign warships from countries that do not border the Black Sea for periods longer than 21 days. The purpose of the International Convention was to prevent the militarization of the Black Sea region. Violation of the agreement gives any Black Sea state the legitimate right to declare foreign warships that remain in the Black Sea for more than 21 days as legitimate military targets. The establishment for the American naval base in the Black Sea would not only violate international law, but result in serious escalation of the military conflict plaguing the region. Bulgarian national television quoted Tegerev on Monday as saying, notwithstanding the Montreal Convention, Bulgaria must ensure that our allies are able to help us secure the Black Sea region with intelligence and means of effective influence, such as the so-called kinetic weapons. The Bulgarian defense minister also wants to increase foreign military presence in the Bulgarian territory. The leader of Vezvezdan, the principal opposition party of Bulgaria's National Assembly, Kostanov, they forgot stupid names, condemned the reckless of irresponsible declarations of the defense minister, stating
Standinov.
the individual Tegerev dared to state that we should consider expanding the Allied naval potential of the Black Sea by creating a possible naval base of the United States in Bulgaria.
Oh, well, that's not going to cause any problems at all. Like, why do you need a naval base, a United States naval base in Bulgaria along the Black Sea? Why exactly do we need that?
Really don't know. Really don't know. What is
Like,
up?
we're going to station everybody over there. Well, why? Why did you do that? Like, because Russia's going to invade Bulgaria. They're gonna go to like North Africa, like take over the whole world. Like this is just bullshit talk. Like of course they're trying to antagonize the Russians. Pardon my French.
Gohagen says kinetic simply means weapons you can feel outright. Oh. Sure. Makes sense.
It's like when
Makes
Alex
sense that they're
Jones
so-called-
hits his desk. It's like a kinetic action that takes place. That's called kinetic energy that goes through the desk into the
Right.
floor and like radiates all throughout Texas. Like that's what happens there. Anyway, just as an example for you to visualize what kinetic means.
Right. Exactly. For all you that don't know.
Right.
He explained the presence of American warships in the Black Sea is not a problem. Americans do this regularly, but they comply with the Montreal Convention on the 21-day thing. At the latest, their ships leave the Black Sea, and then other ships arrive. This is a system called naval rotation. Kostanov warned that bringing in any foreign military non-Black Sea fleet during an ongoing war would further escalate tensions. He warned the government not to play with fire. Ooh, fire, it's all pretty. We love fire. Fire's so much fun.
France loves fire a lot.
It's
Burn
so
down
good.
74 buildings in a day. Why don't we? That's a great idea.
China has had an intelligence base in Cuba for at least 30 years. No
Well, why am I
shit.
not surprised?
They've been saying this for forever, that this is a thing. This is like one of the longest running conspiracy theories to finally be debunked, is that China's had an intelligence base in Cuba for that long. We know. This isn't new. Thank you for bringing us something new.
If anybody recalls the quote unquote like the directed energy weapons that were used against United States personnel in Guantanamo, and they had to be sent back, and that was kind of a big hullabaloo as a result of that, because they came back and people had they had constant headaches and migraines. I think there was some brain problems as well with some of these people as they began to test them and stuff. Like, they got some serious damage. But yeah, I mean, where do you think they come from with that? Cuba has been stuck in the frickin' 50s since the embargo against the Cubans.
Say, I mean,
literally, Cuba is stuck.
These guys are trying to say 90s, and it's like, nah, come on now. Let's go back a little bit further, when you originally showed up there, not when you decided to actually say, well, we kind of showed up around here. No, you were there for a long time. You know dang well they were there back in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, the Chi-Coms? No, the Chi-Coms probably weren't. The Chi-Coms were just getting started then. The Soviets were, as you can see, the Soviets were. Chi-Coms weren't that developed yet. Like, they didn't have that much of a developed global, connections and all the rest of it. Because they were just, Mao Zedong was just, because it was after World War II, the Civil War re-ensued in China, and then the OSS aided the Chi-Com party to overtake the others and chase them to Taiwan, and then that's how we get where we are today. And then Rockefeller brings in the Yaley called Mao, and then he does his whole Cultural Revolution stuff, and then that whole kit and caboodle. But I believe, yeah, I mean, it'd be the 1990s, because that's when the Chinese were really starting to take off, like kaboom, taking off like a rocket ship. And yeah, so and of course the Soviets were going down, and so of course, the Cubanos, like, who else who's the other commie regime there? Like, oh, well, it's the Chi-Coms, and they're taking off, the Soviets are gone, so it's like, oh, what do we do with some stuff with you? How about that? Yeah, sure. So that doesn't surprise me.
Article says retired American intelligence official told the Miami Herald in a report published Wednesday that China has been conducting espionage activities in Cuba since 1992, taking advantage of the fall of the Soviet Union to forge a closer relationship with the fellow communist nation.
Hey, bingo.
The report follows growing concern with the United States regarding China and Cuba's publicly blossoming relationship, triggered by the report in the Wall Street Journal last month, claiming that the Beijing and Havana were discussing plans to build a spy base on the island. Cuba is about 90 miles away from America and hosts a pivotal American military base, the Guantanamo Bay facility, making it an enticing target for such activities by U.S. rivals. The White House initially denied the Journal report, calling it not accurate, then claimed the inaccuracy in the report was that the spy base was in the planning stages. It had already been there since 2019. The anonymous official claimed the Associated Press, blaming the administration of former President Donald Trump, because that's the easy way to do it. It just pointed at the orange man. In reality, retired Defense Intelligence Agency Counterintelligence Research Chief Chris Simmons told the Miami Herald such a base existed in Cuba since the era of George H.W. Bush. whose family was long and well documented relationship with the Chinese Communist Party.
Well. I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all. The base Simmons claimed is located in Bijuco, a suburb of Greater Havana area. We saw the enhancements over a decade, a steady evolution. Clearly, something was going on, but we didn't know what. And then in 2001, he discovered that the Chinese had been there already for 9 years. We're told that at the time that the Chinese arrived in 1992, they were embedded in a single building in Bejuco, and they were 50 officers in the facility. Simmons described the base as signals intelligence facility, meaning a base in the intercept American communications from espionage purposes, and claimed that the U.S. authorities of the time dismissed the news because the conventional wisdom was that China just seized the political opportunity because of the collapse of the Soviet Union, when Beijing was not worth a significant concern. In 1992, the year Simmons claims American authorities believe the Chinese intelligence agents established a presence in Cuba, the administration of President George H.W. Bush was invested in a foreign policy of friendliness towards the brutal Chinese Communist Party, which had barely 3 years prior orchestrated the Tiananmen Square massacre in an attempt to convince Beijing to become democratic. President Bush promoted expanded commercial ties with China, even in the aftermath of that massacre in June 5th, 1989. I happen to believe that the commercial contacts have led to, in essence, to this quest for more freedom. I think as people have commercial incentive, whether it's in China or other totalitarian systems, the move to democracy becomes more exonerable. The president said in the day of the massacre, the Bush family's relationship with the family stems with the part of the business's ties between President George H.W. Bush's brother, Prescott Bush, and then Shanghai Mayor Jiang Zemin, who went on to become president of China and leader of Beijing's Operation in Silence. Global disgust regarding the Tiananmen Square massacre and lucrative business deals. And it really seems like there's always somebody that has somebody else that has a close tie to somebody else in China. I wonder why. Prescott Bush closed the deal to build a golf club in Shanghai, and foreign business executives in 1989, multiple New York Times bestseller authors and Breitbart News contributor Pete Schweitzer revealed in 2022 book Red-Handed: How Americans Elites Get Rich Helping China Win. Prescott Bush became one of the loudest voices in America against sanctioning China for its human rights abuses. George W. Bush, who became president in 2001, presided over America as China joined the World Trade Organization that year, the stepping stone Beijing needed for the global supply chain dominance it now enjoys. So, it kind of fun how things kind of weave their way back to the political elite. It's kind of fun. The WTO membership. Go ahead.
Oh! I was about to jump and say how everybody's connected there. You're looking at communist Cuba there, and Raul Castro, the father of Justin Castro of Canada.
All right, who ends up down at the bottom there, right?
It's a little bit of a connection with everybody.
There's quite a connection on all the political elite around the world and where they actually, tie themselves to each other, how they tie each other together, and where that actually does bring us. This is the WTO membership in the long-term project under the younger Bush's predecessor, Bill Clinton, who was also enjoyed warm relations with the Chinese Communist Party and took over $500,000 in speaking fees from a Chinese business group, while his wife Hillary Clinton served as Secretary of State under the then President Barack Obama. Cuba, despite being home of the extremely brutal human rights violating regime, being extremely hostile to U.S. interests and serving as a stepping stone to the foreign hostile regimes such as China, Russia, and Iran into the Western Hemisphere, was not a priority of the foreign policy of either Bush administration, the Clinton administration, or the administration of current President Joe Biden. Former President Barack Obama prioritized rewarding the Castro regime for its atrocities, visiting Cuba and doing the wave at the baseball game with murderous dictator Raul Castro. President Donald Trump's administration, in contrast, prioritized sanctions on the Castro regime in elevating the stories of Cuban political prisoners in the Cuban exile community at home, limiting profits from America to the Castro regime, greatly expanded under Obama during the Trump era, resulting in a significant decline in politically motivated arrests and other human rights violations on the island. The Biden administration nonetheless appeared to blame the Trump administration for the initial Wall Street Journal report in June on Chinese espionage in Cuba. That report claimed, citing anonymous sources, that China was offering billions of dollars to the impoverished communist regime on the island to build a spy base. Officials familiar with the matter said that China has agreed to pay cash-strapped Cuba several billion dollars to allow it to build the eavesdropping station, and that the two countries had reached an agreement in principle, the newspaper alleged. Officials declined to provide more details about the proposed location and listening station or whether construction had begun. White House National Security Strategic Communications John Kirby, who is quoted as the original Wall Street Journal report, called the report, featuring his own words, not accurate. But yet again, it's there. Another unnamed White House official reportedly told the Associated Press that the base already existed in Cuba in 2019. When China reportedly conducted the upgrade on it, they officially claimed the base was an inherited problem from the Trump era. In a subsequent press conference, Kirby called it shameful that anonymous sources were informing the public of potential Chinese espionage activity 90 miles from U.S. soil. It's shameful that somebody or somebodies somehow think it's okay to put this kind of information in the public bloodstream, Kirby scolded reporters. Clearly, there's a source or sources out there that think it's somehow beneficial to put this kind of information into the public stream, and it's absolutely not. Obviously, you and your bosses make the decision about whether you're going to report on it.
Yeah, because it's, you don't need to know about the Chi-Coms, doing experimentation on people in Guantanamo Bay with different weirdo energy weapons and things like that, because the Cubanos definitely don't have that technology. The Chi-Coms do. So you don't need to know about that, says John Kerry. Why do you, the public, need to know about that? You don't need to know. Just let it happen. So that way there's no public support for potentially putting pressure on Cuba to be rid of this via our elected representatives, right? Because that's how this works. So if you keep the public ignorant, then we can't do anything about it. We can't petition our government or have a redress of grievances. Nothing of the sort.
I'm not so sure. Go ahead, and any thinking motherfucker would question that statement. I doubt it.
Well, a key word there is thinking.
Well, you don't have to actually think. That's for sure.
Precisely. That's a narrow group of reporters nowadays. So.
Good night, Suzanne, if you're still with us. Sleep well. So then, this guy, Vivek Ramaswamy, explains how he will decouple from China and revive the economy. So, he's going to actually go into his bit on how he feels if he actually wins presidency, how he can actually get away with actually walking away from China. Kind of looks like, wearing a Trump suit.
It looks like he's trying to do some kind of Trump hand there.
Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy told Breitbart News Daily on Thursday that Americans are hungry for details about how to put the country back on track and provide his own specific plan to decouple from China, revive the economy, and install U.S. pride into the nation's youth. Speaking of the recent rise in polls, Ramaswamy attributed the movement of speaking his mind with restraint and articulating the true beliefs to the American people, whom he said are hungry for details. Our people are sick and tired of slogans, and so when I go into the details of how I will shut down the administrative state, how we will actually declare independence from China, how will we actually revive national pride in our next generation, how will we grow an economy back above 4% per year? People are hungry for driving into those details. And he's got a point. He's got a point. If he's going to actually talk about some of these actual details, it might actually get him a little bit further than some of them that are out there just throwing out stupid slogans like Bidenomics.
Or DeSantis' slogan, I'm not going to drain the swamp. I'm going to break the swamp.
Or how about make America great again? It doesn't matter which one you use. It doesn't matter. When that's all you're going to do is go around speaking in in just little terms like that, whatever. Yeah, I get it. You pick up the small people, and the small people actually listen to that. They're good with your words when you say small little slogans. It's better off in the long run for those that actually like to use their brain for a few seconds, for them to actually go ahead and listen to the long story from each and every single person.
Yeah, but break the swamp just makes absolutely no sense. Like, it's not even clever. It's not even anything. It's just it's such a loser statement.
I mean, yeah, and MAGA's a little over. He needs to change it up. Just saying.
No, that's a great statement. Everybody uses it.
The anti-woke businessman explained how the policy goals, including decoupling from China. He made it clear that it is crucial to recognize doing so at the matter of national security, emphasizing that the U.S. cannot be dependent on an enemy such as the Chinese Communist Party. He blasted members of the Biden administration for recently announcing export controls in rare minerals that we need to make technology, including semiconductors, here. Which is totally fine. I mean, I'm down with bringing manufactured goods back to the States. I'm totally down. We should have never, shipped half of them away. In 2024, candidate is said he would love to onshore all of the U.S., but all of that to the U.S., but he said that is unlikely in intentions. Therefore, it is important to re-enter trade agreements with other countries. It's a false promise to say that we can do that instantly in a year or even 6 months. That's not going to happen. And so what I think we need to do is we're really serious about decoupling from China, and is that we need to onshore as much as we can to the United States while also re-entering some of those trade relationships with South Korea, Japan, India, Vietnam, much of the Southeast Asia, Australia, even as South America, Ramaswamy explained, noting that this will place the U.S. in a position to have its threats mean something to China. Ramaswamy is not wrong, really, when it comes down to it. Trade shouldn't be limited to certain particular countries. Yeah, trade should be open. Trade should be open across the globe, around the globe, to every single nation available. to actually grow. We're not going to sit there and grow by ourselves. Then Xi Jinping, knows that I mean it when I say that we're cutting the cord. We're banning U.S. businesses from expanding into China. We'll stop the ban any CCP affiliate from buying land in a country from donating it to the university of this country. And when I'm sitting across from him, in U.S. president, he will know what that I mean it, adding that this will put the CCP in the position to either radically reform or the U.S. will cut the cord. So, I mean, cut the cord. He's really for actually removing the existence of China and United States' relationship completely off the board. I'm fine with that. Let's get rid of China. Fuck China. China ain't done nothing good for anybody. Right? Right. So, I got like 3 or 4 articles to go along with this cocaine thing. We're not going to go into it very, very far. Media now says we may never know who brought cocaine to the White House because that area wasn't covered by cameras at all or all that well.
Well, how convenient. How convenient.
Of
Oh, by
course,
the way, see that's a photo there of him, like,
photo wiping his nose. Here we go. The Biden White House cocaine story keeps changing. Bag of cocaine is discovered in the White House over the weekend. At first, it reported that the cocaine was found in the library. Then on Tuesday night, it was reported that cocaine was stashed in a cubby in the storage facility in the West Wing after Hunter Biden visited the White House. The cocaine was
folks, like, it's literally the most obvious thing in the world. He is a cocaine addict. We have video of him measuring out pounds of cocaine. Like, I mean, and then he comes to there's no cocaine. He comes to the White House, and then then there's cocaine when he comes to the White House. Like, where else is this coming from in this place where?
To be fair, that little scale was just measuring grams. It wasn't measuring pounds.
I mean, might as well, like, because he's got pounds of it someplace, right? So like, I'm only kidding, but I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious who this is. Everybody wants to sit there and go, well, it could be this person. It could be that one.
Oh,
could
come
be this,
on
could
now.
Be that.
It could have been the reporter. It could have been you. It could have been me. It could have been anybody.
Of course. It could have been Grandma from Alaska and Anchorage, right? Like, we just
There's no cameras to surveil it, so we don't know.
It's just, it's one of those MAGA Republicans. We got to go after them, investigate. We got to find Nancy Pelosi's laptop podium and who tried to frame Hunter Biden into looking like he's a cocaine addict in the White House. That's just terrible. One of you MAGA people did it. How dare you? I mean, that's the level of third world horse shit we're dealing with. I mean, the media is literally sitting here with a cocaine addict that we know was there. And I watched a report earlier in the day where they said that there was only 3 people that walked into that room at the time frame. It was Hunter Biden, and it was the chief of staff, somebody or another, and there was another individual, they said, somebody else. The other individual, the third one that I can't remember the name of, doesn't have any kind of problems with drugs or anything else. So the other person, we don't necessarily know. And then, of course, Hunter Biden, we know he has a cocaine problem. So what do you think is the odds of that actually happening?
Yes,
I don't
Hagen.
know.
He filmed himself. Yep.
I mean, yeah, he's literally taken a video of himself with cocaine. But somehow MSNBC and all the mainstream media, they're just like, I mean, we don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. It
They don't care. It's a joke because it's the same drugs they're using.
Well, right. They just keep playing cover all the time. I mean, this is it's literally like a federal crime, right? To be like in possession of and traffic and partake in like literally that much cocaine all the time. But like, whatever. The Bidens are literally committing federal crimes in the White House. Who gives a flying, flipping damn? No one cares. This is a third world hellhole, you freaking insane person. What are you talking about? Like, this is your El Presidente. He doesn't do anything wrong. He's like Raul Castro. He's just, it's whatever, It's whatever. He can do what he wants. He can say what he wants. His son can commit as many crimes as he wants to, do as many things to, young children as he would like, and take as much cocaine as he'd like. And it's totally fine. If you get in 10 feet of someone else that you don't even know has cocaine, they want to send you to prison for your life. Or if you're a MAGA person, they want to send you to prison for your life. Or, I don't know. It's just a numerous plethora of things they could throw you in prison for. But, but hey, they can commit as many crimes as they want to, literally in your face. I mean, they can put on displays of public nudity and other crazy, wacky crap and perverted nonsense right in the front of the White House lawn and have the president taking photographs and filming it while they're all dancing around and jumping around all over the place. And then they can have cocaine, and then they can mess with, they can put the Pride PEDO flag, literally PEDO flag, by the way, in case you didn't know, the other parts of the flag that's like yellow and the other things and like the triangle piece, that represents the PEDOs in all of that stuff. So, hey, but we can put that in prominence right there before the American flag. We can do all of this stuff. Who cares? Who the hell cares? We're the Bidens. We're the mafia family in charge here. We're the crime syndicate family, cartel family in charge here, controlled by all those globalist cartel evil people. Criminal organization. We can do whatever the hell we would like, and you will be the one to go to jail for it. So hey, welcome to the third world, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Find a seat. Some of you can take the front row. There you go. Third world. El Presidente dictatorship. There you go. By the way, I haven't seen this crazy whacktard freak forever. By the way, this I don't even know. I don't even know what the hell her name is. Kamala, right? Kamala Harris, cackling Kamala,
Kamala. Yes.
Kamala Cringe Harris.
White House changes cocaine story. Throws Kamala Harris under the bus. Really? The White House is now claiming the cocaine was found in a much more secure place near the Situation Room, and next to where, for example, the Vice President's vehicle is parked, according to the new MSNBC report. The entire world knows Joe Biden is desperate to get rid of Kamala Harris because she is the biggest weakness. Biden can't get through a sentence without embarrassing himself and the nation. He shows his age every single time that they let him step in front of the cameras. A vote for Biden is a vote for Kamala, although most voters have not accepted this reality. But they will. When we go to the polls, the choice will be made clear. If Biden doesn't swap her out with a more popular running mate, she will sink him. Throwing Kamala under the bus to the always Dem-friendly MSNBC may be the first move in the game to get a new running mate for Biden. It is possible the reporter slipped up when she mentioned the vice president, but they rarely go off script. So it's raising questions. Mark Morgan, former FBI agent and acting commissioner of the Customs and Border Protection Agency, added more mystery to the story when he said it would take the U.S. Secret Service 30 minutes to figure out how cocaine came into the White House. Morgan said, "I was there countless times. I put my cell phone in that exact box that they're talking about. I know it well. Oftentimes, there's a Marine that stands there. This literally should take them about 30 minutes to solve. Everybody that comes in, not just the White House grounds, but also everybody that comes into this space, right where you have to check that cell phone, they're accounted for. There's a manifest, there are cameras. could go on. This literally should take them about 30 minutes to figure out whose cocaine it was.
I mean, literally.
But we're now on day 3 and still don't know exactly where the cocaine even was. Nonetheless, to try finding somebody that put it where they have no clue where it was. Sounds a little fishy. Holy coke! The White House cocaine story changes yet again. So then, picture with the Easter Bunny? Anybody?
Yeah,
Well,
don't
we
you
have
know what,
to sit
don't you know
down
what the
there.
Easter Bunny hides in the eggs at the Biden's house? You know, when you know the kids go out and everybody goes out, you know, and we all go on an Easter egg hunt, right? You know, it's just little baggies of cocaine, you know, like, oh yay. Now remember, kids, we're supposed to teach you charity and generosity, which means that when you find the bags of cocaine, you're supposed to give them to Grandpa Joe and Hunter, right? Anyway,
I think this one didn't really have too much different news in it. It still went back to the same basic point. Yeah, that one went same basic point. There wasn't much of a difference on there. But now, because of everything that's actually going on in and around this particular situation, you activated James Comer. James Comer requests Secret Service briefing on White House cocaine.
Oops.
House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer on Wednesday requested a briefing from the Secret Service on their investigation of the cocaine found inside the White House. We requested a briefing of the Secret Service. The Oversight Committee has jurisdiction over the Secret Service. We have concerns about national security risks. We are concerned about the fact of the president's son that we have said for 7 months now is a risk to our national security. We don't know where Hunter Biden lives unless he is living in the White House. That is a concern. There are pictures. He took pictures of himself smoking crack while he was driving. It wouldn't be difficult to deny that. On Wednesday, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre would not say if the White House supports prosecuting the unknown White House cocaine smuggler. I'm just not going to get into the hypotheticals from here. Let the Secret Service do their job. It's under their purview. We're confident that they will get to the bottom of it. I'm just not going to get ahead of this at this time. You know, that thing that she says most often. Nothing big different for words coming out of Karine Jean-Pierre. Will any White House staffers be undergoing drug testing as part of this investigation? The second reporter asked. Just not going to get into hypotheticals from here. The White House is subject to rigorous guidelines that include drug testing, so we will take any action that is appropriate and warranted.
My God.
For those of you that don't really know about cocaine and its properties and how it actually works, anybody that would actually have done any cocaine around that time would still not have any left in their system, as it only lasts for somewhere about 24 hours. It really doesn't stay in your system. That's why so many top officials like it so much, because it gives you the high and it doesn't stay in your system. According to politically unnamed law enforcement officials, believe that the source of cocaine found at the White House is unlikely to be determined. Unlikely to be determined.
Of course. When the president's son commits a crime, everybody just looks around and says, I mean, we all saw him do it, but then again, none of us really saw him do it. Now, did we? No, of course not. No, nobody saw anything. No. Oh, so of course they're not going to find anything because they have already predetermined they're not going to find anything. That's how this works. Welcome to the third world, ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead, and kind of racist to present her as such. Yeah, kind of, but they still did, didn't they? They still did, because that's what they know best. That's what they know best. Oh, kind of move on from the cocaine jibber jabber. I think everybody's okay with that for now. Report: Jill Biden vets staff, blasts presidential aides, seeks to protect husband. This is a Today article. This is a Today article for sure.
Oh, hey, Bernie Mac in the chat here. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Bernie? Good to see you.
Hunter lost his coca. Misplaced it. It happens. Yeah, it just happens. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody
don't
just
you
happens
hate
to
it when you
misplace their
misplace
Coke.
your Coke in the White House, Koolfrogg? It's just terrible.
Yeah, especially when it's in the White House.
Right,
Usually
right,
turns
exactly.
into some kind of international.
I know, because
hubbub.
then people would assume that the drug addict son of the president would actually be doing that in the White House at the time. That would just be nuts. That would just be nuts. Yeah, I mean, I hate losing those bags in the White House all the time. You know? It's difficult.
First Lady Jill Biden is playing an outsized role in her husband's administration, mostly to protect him, according to the new report. Sources claim that Jill Biden is wielding quite a bit of influence over the President Joe Biden's decisions, and she participates directly in vetting administration officials, sitting in meetings, protecting her husband from long events, and many other duties.
He
that
has
appeared
to go to
to
bed.
shield her husband from handling too much of his own. Of course he does. He needs to go wipe his butt and tuck him in. Joe Biden's reported influence on the White House comes as Joe Biden has been scrutinized for being led off stage by the First Lady and appearing to be physically led away from reporters' questions. Joe Biden is appearing frequently at public events and plans to hit the campaign trail going into the 2024 election. The Guardian reported similar details in a separate report, noting that Joe Biden is running the show behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, First Lady Jill Biden might be running the show. In an interview with David Maurer, President Biden was asked about a second run, and he joked, "I got to call Jill to find out." He was kidding, but there is some truth behind his wife's influence. Former senior advisor from Politico, she is always his final gut check. We've read that. The final gut check thing before. And if that's what, he's going to go to his wife for everything. How can you trust the guy? The guy can't even make a decision on his own. He released a campaign video where his wife was spotted embracing the vice president, speaking out and politicking on the campaign trail. The former advisor at his state shared she is usually in the room when senior campaign staff is presenting the strategy to her husband. She will ask questions, but she never weighs in on the decision. The First Lady Joe Biden encouraged her husband to seek a second term, according to the president's senior advisors. He will often consider her opinion before making final decisions in the official matters. She's also expected to play a large role in the campaign trail. As Biden faces backlash as his family, a career educator, she offers perspective over GOP fights about book bans and other policies in schools, and she has served in the connection of the suburban voters, particularly women. Joe Biden has also been caught up in leaks to the media, with reports saying that she rages at staffers and has tried to control her husband throughout the day. This comes as the U.S. Secret Service found an unknown item late on Sunday, which led to evacuation of the White House. Oh, we know what that item is now. A person with knowledge of the situation confirmed on Wednesday that the laboratory testing of the material discovered the White House on Sunday was cocaine. Secret Service units blocked off roads around the president's official residence, while a D.C. Fire Department hazmat team was dispatched to the location to investigate. All road closures were now been lifted, and the spokesperson confirmed. The Secret Service units blocked off roads around the president's official residence, while the D.C. Fire Department hazmat team. Oh, did they put the same? It's the same two paragraphs right next to each other. It's not me, it's them. U.S. Secret Service uniformed division officers located an unknown item in the White House complex. As a precaution, the White House grounds were evacuated. Precautionary closures were implemented around the White House complex this evening after an unknown item was discovered. Precautionary closures will be lifted as soon as DC Fire has cleared the unknown item. They cleared it. We know what it is. It's cocaine. And we know that Joe Biden's the one that's running the show. It's you, Joe. It's all you. What are you staging cocaine to? Is that all you? She's looking old. Isn't she? Great answer, America Shirts. New video photo evidence from Trump raid revealed in Mar-a-Lago. Search warrant. Oh no, not more information. Explosive new video and photo evidence from raid of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate has revealed after a judge unsealed the search warrant. Additional portions of the affidavit the FBI used to obtain a warrant in search of sensitive documents at Mar-a-Lago, former President Donald J. Trump's private club. The residents in Florida were unsealed by a federal magistrate judge on Wednesday, providing some new information about the extraordinary process that had taken place. The newly unredacted sections of the affidavit suggested that prosecutors had based their search in part on surveillance footage that cameras near the storage room of the basement of Mar-a-Lago showing Walt Nauta, a personal aide of Mr. Trump, moving dozens of boxes in and out of the room days before federal prosecutors arrived to collect any sensitive records still in Trump's possession. Much of the material and affidavit unsealed on Wednesday was already been made public in the expansive indictment of Mr. Trump and Mr. Nauta issued in Miami last month. This indictment charged the former president with 31 counts of illegally retaining national defense information, separate count of conspiring with Mr. Nauta to obstruct the government's efforts to reclaim them. The judge also ordered the unsealing. Bruce Reinhart was issued 2 previous orders unsealing separate portions of the warrant affidavit in response to the media requests. The warrant says of the photo, the purpose of the photograph was to show former POTUS the volume of boxes that remained in the storage room. The storage photo, which appears below, captures approximately 61 of the former POTUS's boxes located in the storage room. The warrant also contains detailed descriptions of surveillance footage showing a Trump co-defendant, Walt Nauta, moving boxes out of the storage room. By reviewing the camera footage provided by a Trump organization in response to the subpoena, the FBI determined following on May 24, 2022, witness 5 is observed exiting the anteroom doorway with 3 boxes. On May 30th, 2022, 4 days after witness 5's interview with the FBI during the location of the boxes was a significant subject of questioning. Witness 5 was observed exiting the anteroom doorway and approximately 50 bankers' boxes consistent with the description of former POTUS's boxes. FBI did not observe the quantity of boxes being returned to the storage room through the anteroom entrance in its review of the footage. The next day, on June 1st, 2022, witness 5 is observed carrying 11 more brown cardboard boxes out of the anteroom entrance. One box did not have a lid on it and appeared to contain papers. The day after that, on June 2nd, 2022, witness 5 is observed moving 25 of the 30 boxes, some of which were brown cardboard boxes and others of which were bankers' boxes consistent with the description of the former POTUS's boxes, into the entrance of the anteroom. Approximately 3.5 hours later, witness 5 was observed escorting former POTUS's counsel 1 into the entrance of the anteroom, and former POTUS's counsel 1 is not observed leaving until approximately 2.5 hours later. On June 3rd, 2022, former POTUS's counsel 1 is escorted through the anteroom entrance by an unidentified individual wearing a jacket with USSS police printed on the back. An identified individual of former POTUS's counsel 1 exit the anteroom entrance. Moments later, former POTUS counsel 1 appeared to be carrying a red-pulled envelope after exiting the anteroom. Below is a new photo showing 61 boxes of material in the Mar-a-Lago storeroom. Yeah, it looks like a storeroom. It looks like a stage, dude. And of course, they got photos. They got photos and photos and photos of more and more boxes to make it look like he had so many things, but he really seriously only coming up with 35 reasons out of the million pieces of paper that are sitting there. Legal experts pointed to a potential red flag that could see federal judge appointed by then President Donald Trump taken off the government's classified documents case against him. Young lady, that was appointed as judge, maybe might just lose her judgeship, or I doubt she loses the judgeship. She'll probably just be taken off of his particular case. As it might be a little bit of a conflict of interest per se. Former U.S. Attorney Joyce Vance, written in the Substack page Civil Discourse, said that special counsel Jack Smith made a smart strategic play when he filed a motion late last month in U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon's South Florida courtroom, and the Trump's trial date moved to August to December. They're just going to keep on pushing it out further and further and further. It's all good. It's all good. Just keep on doing that. Under the Speedy Trial Act, the government has a 70-day time frame from the arraignment date to prosecute the former president. The act allows for the certain periods of executable time, and other delays that typically favor the defendant. However, Trump's legal team is expected to request additional delays, potentially aiming to extend the proceedings beyond the upcoming presidential election year, the outlet added. According to court filers, prosecutors have contended with the case in a straightforward and uncomplicated, involving only two defendants without any unique legal and factual complexities. Therefore, they're likely to further argue that there is limited justification for Trump to seek a delay in the trial that would extend into late 2024 or beyond. As part of the discovery process, the government has promptly provided non-classified evidence to defense attorneys. Therefore, any approval of a trial delay by Cannon would draw attention and scrutiny, even without special treatment from Cannon. Trump's trial venue in Florida works to his advantage. Of course, it works to his advantage, but they're extending it. They're going to continue to extend that out. They're going to push it out as far as they possibly can. Trump goes, if he picks up president in 2024, he's just going to actually go on. He's going to lift it. He's going to lift it and be like, no, you can't charge me. I'm the president. Why are they wasting their time and money doing such a ridiculous act? It does not make sense. I'm with you on that, Bernie Mac. He was president. He had the abilities and the rights to declassify anything that he wanted to at the time. Joe Biden at the time was, or before that, previously was just vice president and had no right. President dude's never had a real job. Of course he's not. He doesn't need a real job. He's been a politician his whole life. That's what he knows how to do. America shirts. Let's hope that he's okay. I'm sure that he had something to say about that particular. Mitt Romney gives Republicans urgent 2024 warning about Trump. Yeah, there you go. Let's listen to the rhino. Everybody ready to listen to the rhino? Senator Mitt Romney, Utah, is pushing the GOP to get past Donald Trump, but he thinks the former president will ultimately secure the party's candidacy. I hope the jury of American people reaches the same conclusion that Donald Trump, he just is not suited for president of the United States, and to be the person who we will hold up to our children and the world as leader of the free world. At the same point, when the people who work with you, your cabinet secretaries and juries, conclude that you've done something severely wrong, it's time for us to recognize that the great majority of those who've worked for him is right and he's wrong. Of course you would feel that way. You're Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney's not going to think that an actual Republican's doing something good, or somebody that calls himself a Republican, because he calls himself a Republican too and does absolutely zero things good. New report in the Washington Post also details Romney's feud with Trump being in 2024. Republicans might regain some ground in the young Mormons from former President Donald Trump departs the political stage. Trump turned off many LDS voters with his uncouth personal style, constant feuds with the Mormon Senator Mitt Romney of Utah, and attempts to restrict Muslim immigration. Mormons face religious discrimination throughout the U.S. history and tend to react negatively to the attacks on any single religious group, that outlet reported. But Trump's exit, whether that comes in 2024, 2028, or later, might not heal all wounds. Burge calculated that Mormons younger than 40 were more likely to favor abortion for any reason than their older peers. I found similar patterns in other foundational political questions, such as whether white Americans have the advantages due to their skin color. Romney has made it clear he's not done attacking Trump, which he made clear recently when he recently said he believes that Trump will once again become the party's nominee in 2024. So he's already put him there. Mitt already put him up there and actually put him as president of the United States. In the back and forth with a few reporters at the U.S. Capitol, I think President Trump is by far the most likely to become our nominee. If there's an alternative to that, it would be only realistic if it narrows down to the two-person race at some point. There's always a personal interest in the start of the campaign, particularly the campaign staff and consultants, as well as the candidates to stay in and to say, hey, look, I came in second, so I'm the person that really ought to get the nomination 4 years from now, Romney noted further. And so it is up to the donors and other influential people that know the candidate, his family and her family, to say, hey, time to move on. Romney, who voted twice to impeach Trump, added that he would work against the former president during the nomination process. I won't be supporting President Trump. Romney has become known as a GOP political circles for things that are not flattering to him. He's anti-Donald Trump, and he couldn't pull off becoming president himself, losing twice in 2008 and 2012. Now we may be into fight to salvage what is left of this political career. Romney will face a GOP primary challenger as he seeks re-election next year of Riverton, Utah Mayor Trent Staggs, who announced he is running for Romney's seat. Right now, Washington is broken, Staggs said in a video announcing his candidacy, and every time we compromise, it costs us U.S. trillions. He added, we have more IRS agents than border agents, and while you're paying $4 a gallon for gas, they're sending our money unchecked to Ukraine. Now we're almost $32 trillion in debt. Enough is enough. Staggs went on to remind viewers that years ago, Romney, former Massachusetts governor, moved to Utah and told us that he would fight for. He played a video clip of Romney pledging to end illegal immigration, putting America on a path of balanced budget, and to push back against federal outreach and confirm judges who follow the Constitution. And he's done everything except that. He's done everything except that, for sure. Romney has failed his constituents everywhere that he's gone. And for Romney to go ahead and try pushing his will to actually say that Donald Trump is not the right person and we should overlook him, though he believes that he will be the party's nominee in 2024. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Mittens. Shows Republicans surging. They actually put Vivek Ramaswamy as surging. He's actually up into double digits. Looked like he was actually doing a little bit better than what DeSantis was doing. He was actually moving up the ladder just a little bit. being a Trump advocate in himself. Some other stuff here. It says Hudson River Tunnel project gets $6.9 billion in federal money. Very good job, New York, at actually straddling the money that you need. Chucky Schumer. The Hudson River Tunnel project, that's part of the Gateway program, will receive $6.9 billion in federal money. Biden administration officials have announced, I'm thrilled to announce, that the new Gateway Tunnel will receive $6.88 billion thanks to the infrastructure law, Senator Chuck Schumer said in the post on social media, referring to the $1.2 trillion or so infrastructure bill President Joe Biden signed into law in November 2021. This is the largest ever transportation grant by the federal government, Mr. Schumer told reporters at a news conference in Manhattan. The money will be used to revitalize and expand the Northeast Rail Corridor as part of the Hudson River Tunnel project. Specifically, it will upgrade the existing North River Tunnel that runs under the Hudson River between New York and New Jersey. It will also construct 2 new track tunnels from Bergen Palisades in New Jersey to Manhattan with direct access to New York Penn Station. Today, we are proud to announce that the Hudson River Tunnel project is entering the engineering phase, moving us a huge step closer to finally revitalizing and expanding this century-old piece of American infrastructure. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said in a statement in which he said the closures of the North River Tunnel impact not just the Northeast Corridor, but the entire country. The North River Tunnel has been repaired frequently, but its age and condition are a reliability concern for the hundreds and thousands of commuters traveling through the tunnel every weekday. According to Federal Transit Administration, the agency is estimated in a single day of closure of the tunnel would cost about $100 million, as the impacts of region that affects over 20% of the country's economy. FTA is proud to invest in the Hudson River Tunnel through the SIG program, and the rails can continue to carry millions of people and billions of dollars that help define our country's economy every year. The billions earmarked for the project represent the largest ever grant from the FTA's Capital Investment Grants program for a major push forward to the Gateway program after years of stalled efforts. Yay, they got what they freaking wanted. The $6.9 billion to go ahead and actually, fix a tunnel or build a tunnel, which the whole entire program is somewhere around $17.2 billion. That's a large bill. That's a very large bill that they're putting on each one of them states to actually go ahead and actually foot the cost on or whatever. It's amazing feat, and it's probably going to take a while for it to actually be completed. Former President Donald Trump opposed the Gateway project, arguing that it wasn't a priority for the federal government to fund that, in the 2 states, New York and New Jersey, should bear more of the cost. So he was against giving any of it, but Biden, no problem. Biden just says, here you go. Here's your billions. Other investments under the Gateway project include grants from Portal North Bridge and the Tonal Avenue, which will provide opening of the Hudson River Tunnel in New Jersey side, according to the FDA. The Hudson Tunnel project will renovate the 1910 tunnel that carries about 200,000 weekday passengers beneath the Hudson between New Jersey and Manhattan, which now runs at full capacity, resulting in bottlenecks and delays. The existing tunnel faces problems due to the seawater flooding from Superstorm Sandy in 2012, which damaged concrete steel tracks, signaling, and electrical components. Beyond its age and regular maintenance, in 2012, millions of gallons of salt water flooded into the tunnel during Sandy. Even today, the remnants of the seawater that entered the tunnel in 2012 continue to harm the concrete steel tracks and third rail, signaling electrical components in tunnel. The funding allocation will revamp the old North River Tunnel and build a new 2-track, one beneath the Palisades and Hudson River and the riverfront area in Manhattan. It seems like a very, very large feat, and it seems very interesting. We'll see if that actually becomes something So hopefully they don't squander the $6.9 billion that the federal government is now footing to go ahead and pay for such a construction. It's really seriously massively huge. Calls to end military cannabis testing as recruitment falls. Recruitment falling as fast as it has been as of late for military. For them to actually go ahead and change their rulings on how to actually get in the military might actually be beneficial to them. It might not. Florida Rep. Matt Gaetz has proposed an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act that end the military's prohibition on pot in hopes of boosting recruitment. Despite its legal status in several states, members of the military, as well as recruits, are banned from using cannabis. Plus, recruitment numbers are down in several branches of the military for the second year in a row. Our military is facing recruitment and retainment crisis unlike any other time in American history. I do not believe that the prior use of cannabis should exclude Americans from enlisting in armed forces. We should embrace them for stepping up to serve our country. An increasing number of recruits who tested positive for cannabis, including the states where marijuana is legal. Almost 33% more recruits tested positive in 2022 compared to 2020. As more states legalize marijuana for recreational use, the U.S. government has relaxed guidelines around drug testing, including in the military. More than 3,400 new military recruits who failed drug tests on their first day were given a grace period to test again in the past 5 years, according to the Times. But Alison Jaslow, the CEO of Iraq, Afghanistan, and Veterans of America, said it's about time that the military got the times and updated its policy. Jaslow said that she doesn't believe that the recruit should be penalized for use prior to enlisting in military, especially since medical marijuana is legal in 38 states and D.C. The recreational marijuana is legal in 22 states and D.C. I think it's sad truth that the service members are being held in different standards than many of their fellow Americans in states across the country. If there's a service member who lives in or is stationed in Colorado and wants to self-medicate to treat the PTSD or chronic pain, they could still be kicked out of the military if they tested positive for cannabis. But while smoking weed is more socially acceptable, critics still question whether it is acceptable for troops to partake in using the substance that impairs their performance. Joslo cleared up the confusion, saying, "I don't think anybody's suggesting that they get high at work." She explained that there would be reasonable parameters in which service members could use a particular substance, just like they would with alcohol. Troops aren't allowed to drink while they're overseas or in a deployment environment. Yeah, sure they aren't. While dealing with recruiting crisis right now, and so while the American public has evolved in the views of cannabis, why should we be turning away recruits for kicking out service members when we need every able-bodied volunteer in the military right now? I mean, I'm totally for the legalization of marijuana. Marijuana, being what it is, really shouldn't actually be something that we should be concerned with, in my opinion. I don't know why we find it is something that we should be legalizing or making illegal in any way, shape, or form. It should just be another thing that's on the planet that we have no control over. That's my opinion. On the other hand, leaving that in the hands of people that I'm leaving my life in the hands of as well, I may actually kind of be opposed to actually using cannabis if you're actually in the military. I mean, it doesn't really make you that stupid, but at the same time, just might have a little bit of an issue with it. Should be mandatory for active to not. I agree with you. It shouldn't be something that they should be. They shouldn't. This shouldn't be an issue It really shouldn't. For people to actually believe it is an issue, I find kind of concerning. I really do. Oh, fuck this guy. I don't want to talk about this guy. I'm done with Joe Biden. Well, now, where's America's shirts? Okay, because this is his stuff. This is his stuff right here. Whenever he comes back, we'll go back to that. I guess we'll just kind of move forward a couple more. There's a couple of interesting. Okay, so then there's the abolition of marijuana again. Matt Gaetz is actually pushing for it. It's a big thing in his side. TikTok allows Mexican cartels to post help wanted ads and human smugglers. Hopefully, when American Shirts comes back, he can actually cover that particular instance of, because it's his thing. U.S. Border Patrol officers raised alarm at the Chinese-owned social media platform TikTok for allowing Mexican cartels to publish help wanted posts in search for Americans to smuggle illegal immigrants across the southern border. According to Post Millennial, TikTok took no measure against the post, but placed a warning label on them, which would participate in these activities could result in you or others getting hurt. One video asked for drivers with a car or truck based out of several cities in Texas and offered to pay $10,000 to $20,000. They offered even more money to people with trailers. An account known as Flacco Driver was one as many as posted recruitment ads targeting American citizens for employment opportunities. Users have generally regarded TikTok's terms and conditions for posting as stringent, particularly when it comes to American political issues, but platform regulators have done little to stop ads promoting the blatantly illegal activity when it comes to immigration. Earlier reports exposed smugglers promoting videos for would-be migrants as well, with many of them stylized to make it seem like a fun travel adventure rather than harrowing and potentially deadly journey through the hostile terrain. Local police officers said that the great majority of the attempted smugglers they encountered were American citizens. They're seeing all walks of life. We've had those that are hurting for money. They're in a bind financially, and we're looking to make an easy buck. We've picked up a couple of attorneys that have been smuggling. So anybody and everybody that has the means and has the rights to be able to do such a thing are going ahead and actually smuggling humans across the border, and they're actually being, like this says, pushed into it through ads from TikTok.
And what I'd like to know is how many of these people are children, and how many of these children are being smuggled across through this as well. Because I mean, it's human trafficking, so it's like all ages, but like particularly, like how many of them are going to be like trailers full of kids? Like for those purposes, right? Like how much of that is coming on from this too? Like, I mean, this stuff is everywhere. It's all across the border.
This is the sheriff said one of the young men who lived with their parents didn't need the money but simply wanted notoriety. Who said gangs use smuggling runs as a test for potential members. The Kinney County Sheriff's Department reported high-speed chases every day in the month of February, an unprecedented amount. The officers were in record of 200 pursuits in the year of 2020. Kinney County sheriffs arrested and prosecuted 6,000 people for trespassing and 1,800 for human smuggling. Instagram, Craigslist, Facebook, Snapchat allowed posts recruiting human smugglers on their platform as well, but made efforts to remove many of the posts. Nice. So we're going to actually close this one. Human smuggling is disgusting and very disturbing in itself. and should be something that we shouldn't actually have to actually think about or worry about. We're going to actually go back to this one. This one here. This was an article that I had found, and I figured that you would like it so very much.
I would indeed.
Sound of Freedom beats Disney's Indiana Jones 5 by millions of dollars and
Oh,
2,000
kaboom.
fewer screens.
Take that. We've freaking destroyed these people. And I don't know if this article will go into it or not. Probably will. Indiana Jones had like $400 million total with advertising stuff combined that was used. Sound of Freedom only cost $14 million to make with everything combined. Sound of Freedom within a day made everything for the entirety of their movie and then some.
Here's the actual numbers for you. This is Sound of Freedom, the anti-child trafficking drama starring Jim Caviezel, has emerged as #1 grossing movie on July 4th, surpassing Disney's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny while playing at far fewer screens. In a final tally, Sound of Freedom grossed $14.2 million on 2,634 screens, while opening day on July 4th for a strong per-screen average of $5,407. Indy 5 mustered 11.7 in over 4,600 screens for that day, notching a per-screen average of only $2,500. So over double.
We destroyed them
per screen.
Disney had the rights to this. And if you watch Jack Kosovic, he goes over this. He went over this. Disney had the rights to this movie, Sound of Freedom, 5 years ago. They had almost all the filming done.
Exact words right here. The irony is that Walt Disney shelved Sound of Freedom when it acquired 21st Century Fox in 2019. So, it's amazing. It's amazing how well this movie that you've actually been pushing for the last week or so is actually done.
It's the #1 movie in America right now. I know Indiana Jones. I just saw an advertisement for Indiana Jones on YouTube because hey, YouTube's being YouTube. It's a #1 movie in the world. It's like, no, bro, we blew you out of the water. You're not making money. We are. We won. Screw you, all of you evil, disgusting people in Disney. Screw every freaking one of you.
I like how you put yourself on the team. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, we all are.
We all are.
Anybody that's been supporting this, been promoting this, broadcasting it, blasting it out there, buying tickets for other people, buying tickets yourself and going to see the movie. It was the #1 movie on July 4th. I mean, people were like, oh yeah, maybe this, maybe that. July 4th, it was Sound of Freedom was the biggest. And it was shown on less theaters and had more money spent on it by the viewers. Oh, is that a new Mel Gibson video?
No, this is just his.
Is it the old one? That doesn't look like it. Looks zoomed up.
It's zoomed in. This is the clip from.
Oh, okay.
The other day, right? So then, it has taken producer Vertigo nearly 3 years to disentangle Sound of Freedom from Disney's hands and raise the money to release it through Angel Studios. Sound of Freedom benefited from the strong social media push from conservative influence as well as endorsements from Mel Gibson and Gary Sinise, who weren't involved in the movie. They were also pay-it-forward efforts, which allowed ticket buyers to purchase seats for people who might not be able to afford it. This is based on the life of career of Tim Ballard. Sound of Freedom stars Jim Caviezel, a Homeland Security agent who quits his job in order to bring child traffickers to justice. Oscar winner Mira Sorvino, who urged her Twitter followers to see the movie, co-stars as his wife, Catherine. Indy 5 is shaping up in the latest box office fiasco as beleaguered Disney the title fell short of already deflated 5-day projection of 85 million, bringing in just 82 million domestically. Overseas ticket sales are also weak in the back of the lackluster reviews and a meddling level of fan enthusiasm. Yeah, people seriously hated Indy 5. We've talked about Indy 5 for a while, what they'd actually done to actually like CGI him, whatever, try fixing it and give him some. They've done a lot of things to actually, make Indy 5 be a thing. And I'm so glad that it's not. And to see something like this to actually come out of it, it just puts a smile on your face to actually think that, hey, things can actually turn around and actually be a
It
little bit
is.
better.
We're doing it. We're winning. See, this is what I kept talking about. It's like this is the effect that we're having. This is the huge effect that we're having. And the other thing too, I was listening to like different people talk about it, like over the course of the day, like what different people had to say. And Tim Pool had talked about it, and I know some people have some opinions about him, but he had brought up like a 15-minute video or so or whatever, covering the topic because again, it's very newsworthy. I mean, my God, within a day, this movie made back everything that it took to make it, and then some in just a day, and it's still in theaters, and so it's still going to be shown, and more theaters are bringing it in. I noticed that myself, and he was talking about it in the same way that I was, and that this movie is very powerful in that, like, you go and see like some fun, dumb superhero movie, whatever, you laugh about it, but then like by the end of the day or by the end of the next day, you forget all about it. Who cares? This movie, it's powerful. It sticks with you. It's fun. You remember it. Oh, well, fun, like aspects of it is. But it's a very memorable movie, and it's powerful because it's real. Like, this is all real life stuff. And when you have emotions tied up with this movie, as you should because of the topic, I mean, these are innocent children. I mean, it's real. It's real emotion. This is dealing with real life stuff. And so it's different. And he was like going into that and talking about that and whatever else, like seeing everybody else in the theater when he was there. And it's the same thing. And so I think people hopefully will see that, like, again, like the back and forth there with like Tim Ballard saving the kid in a real life situation of what's going on right now and starting a movement to stop this. And Indiana Jones, 95 years old, can't move barely, running around, and then Disney spends another $200 million to just try to advertise it and blast it everywhere. Like, I mean, it's just, people are tired of the stupid, fake, fictional stories. I mean, like, fictional stories only go so far. Like, these people just keep going crazy. The first 3 movies of Indiana Jones were fine. The superhero stuff is so overdone. It's so blasted everywhere. It's just like crazy nonsense. And then there's woke stuff everywhere. Stuff like The Sound of Freedom is what we need to be pushing for as what we want to see in the movie theaters. Stuff like that. Stuff that's good. It's beneficial. It motivates you and inspires you. And you can see things in the real world. And you actually feel like, you're not caught up in some stupid like time travel fantasy. Oh no, this character, whatever. Like, no, like this is all real life stuff. And you're watching real life depictions of things that happen in real life in Sound of Freedom. I mean, it's as real and as raw as it gets. And yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And because of the support of those of you who went to go watch it, if those of you in the audience went to go watch it and perhaps paid forward for other people or went with a group of people, paid for other people's tickets, whatever, thanks a bunch to you and to all of those who watched my Rumble videos. I noticed my Rumble videos, they ticked up during and after July 4th. Because people went to watch the movie and then they came home and they were like, oh my God. And they started searching some things of like Sound of Freedom, background of Sound of Freedom. And they were actually finding my Rumble video. And I had someone post something up there that I didn't know their name or whatever, the comment. They left a big long comment. I mean, people are finding this stuff. People are looking at this stuff. It's starting a movement, and it's fantastic. I mean, that's what movies should do. That's what art should do. Art shouldn't just keep you encapsulated in some fake reality dream world of, oh my God, wait till the next movie till you find this out or whatever. Until then, get your kid to buy for your kid for Christmas $18,000 worth of toys that are useless and made of plastic from China. And, oh my God, you got to get caught up with this fake emotion about some crazy superhero whacktard that can run super fast and he's lightning, or, oh, he's this. It's not real. There's no basis in anything about reality. How in the world, oh, I'm inspired to do what? To do what? Shoot webbing out of your hands? You can't do that. But guess what you can do? You can support people who end child trafficking, who save children, and you can push for laws in your own freaking country to stop it from happening underneath your own nose in your own freaking country. That's what you can do. It actually motivates you to do stuff in the real world. That's what art should do. Art shouldn't just keep you encapsulated. Art should make you move and do and take action. And to feel real things, not fake crap. Fictional stories can only go so far, people.
It looks like the other mic is here as well. Nice. Good to see us. Glad you're here. Who fed shirt speed?
Koolfrogg did. He pulled up the article.
Not sure, Moose. Yep, exactly. I pulled up the right article to trigger
right.
Shirt.
Sound of Freedom did it. I went to go see the movie. That's some speed too. There, action, get things done. I mean, come on, man. Oh, we can't hear, by the way, because of the you have the whole window rather than 10.
Oh, I thought it. Dang it.
Oops. But yeah, go see Sound of Freedom if you haven't seen it. Go now. Tickets are selling out. Literally, they're selling out. I mean, it's everywhere. People are selling out. Go see it.
The lithium will power components it's going to be made in redwood redwood materials. Here in Charleston, where the company's making the largest investment in the history of the state.
What?
What? What the hell did you just say to me? It's the headline for this particular article is Joe Biden loses battle with teleprompter in South Carolina.
Let's be clear. I hear it all the time. Cumulative deficit reduction, play for the programs many times over.
Hey, Mimsy.
It's not the first time he's lost the battle.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Mimsy.
I have a feeling he's going to lose the war with the teleprompter here after a while. He keeps losing this many battles, man.
I mean, the guy's a straight up fool. Straight up fool. We all kind of know that. It isn't something that we take for granted, really, either. I think every single person on the face of the planet knows how much a fool he really is. This doesn't actually have a video. I wish it did. Because it actually talks about how he actually talks about his own age, gives his own punchlines. So this is
that's a perfect picture too.
How old is Joe Biden? I'm 198 years old. The nation's oldest president joked in the crowd of reproductive rights activists at the event in late June. In a campaign reception in California a few days earlier, Biden took a self-deprecating swipe at his advanced years while boasting about his foreign policy credentials. That's what I've done my whole life for at least 270 years. Bada bing. This is how Biden's confronting this age issue. He's asking voters to give him another 4 years in office by embracing it with humor.
I mean, it's so bad. It's so bad. I mean, could you imagine Donald Trump saying anything like that? I mean, I can't. Like, it's just, because Donald Trump is like
No,
freaking. I mean, Donald Trump
Trump
is
doesn't
like
give a shit about
energy
any of this.
personified. Like, he just like freaking. And Joe Biden's just like, oh, I'm 198 years old. I mean, does anybody really know if he's making a joke or is that a gaffe? Like, does he actually think he's 198
He
years old? Because I
actually
think
doesn't
he
know.
actually thinks he's 198 years old.
I
I
don't
mean, we
think he
don't know.
knows.
Nobody freaking knows.
He
Nobody
says
knows whether or not he's
198,
joking
he says
or he's.
270. You know, I mean, is he actually human? There's so many
He
questions
doesn't know.
to go along with Joe Biden.
He has no freaking clue. Not a freaking clue. He has no clue. He wakes up one day, he thinks he's a water buffalo. The next day, he's a zebra. He has no clue. He has absolutely no clue.
So then, no president has ever come to the job with more experience, and Joe Biden and President Biden has leveraged that experience into a record of accomplishments that few presidents have matched.
I mean, that's just like saying, "Oh, I have experience with what's an example here? I have an experience with lawnmowers, for example, right? But like every time that you get on a lawnmower and you're trying to ride it around or whatever, like you keep blowing it up, and you keep getting burn marks on yourself because you keep blowing it up into a fiery blaze of death every time you get on it. It's like, but he's got experience. Okay, what kind of experience does he have? And what is he experiencing now? like that's just like somebody coming up and being like, "Hey, I'll fix your grill," and like their eyebrows are burnt off, and like the front portion of their scalp is burnt off, and it's like, "I'll fix your grill, bro." Like, are you gonna trust that guy to fix your grill? I'm not gonna trust that guy to fix my grill. I'm not gonna let him run and operate a like freaking propane powered grill if that's what you have. Like, I'm not doing that. Freaking crap.
Okay.
Like, so experience.
What is
Well, what
going
kind
on?
of experience, and how big of an experience?
The mystery is still searching for the clue.
Oh my God! Don't burn your leg here, Jim. Yes. I hope everybody
It might go
remembers
straight
the,
up in flames. Kids will have to wipe it down.
Yes. Yes, the kids. Oh my God.
All right.
Oh
So
my God.
I kind of skipped a bunch of this.
He would
This is-
actually say that though. He would actually say that though.
Right, he would. I kind of skipped a bunch of this. So it says, try being 110. And so Biden keeps using his age as a punchline. At the back tie White House Correspondents' Dinner in April, Biden assured journalists that the invited guests that he believes the First Amendment, and he's not just because my good friend Jimmy Madison wrote it when presenting the Commander-in-Chief's trophy of Air Force.
Jimmy Madison.
Jimmy Madison. Yes.
It sounds like some like gaff phrase to try to say like John Madden or something. Like what? Jimmy Madison. Literally, no one knows who you're talking about. And now, of course, that again, as we keep saying, neither does he. He doesn't know.
I was just going to say, he doesn't even know what the hell
He
he's talking
doesn't
about.
freaking know.
When presenting the Commander-in-Chief's trophy to Air Force Falcons in April, Biden mentioned Dwight Eisenhower's remarks of the first class of the Air Force Academy nearly 65 years ago. I wasn't there, he added, no matter what the press says. And at Safer Community Summit in Connecticut in June, Biden said that he knows as many Americans who have lost loved ones in gun violence have grown weary of the long fight and the tighter gun restrictions. You're tired? I get it. Try being 110 and doing it again. Biden's jokes about his age usually go as good as a laugh of the audience, but as political strategy, will it work? It's hard to know. People have concerns about his age, but those concerns might not be the most important issues of assessing Biden's presidential performance. I would agree. I don't think that we really need to worry about just the age. I think there's a lot more in the performance area that we need to actually think about.
But I mean, just that on its face, like people are concerned, like, gee, He like some people age well, like Trump does. Biden has aged terribly because he's a terrible human being. He's treated himself terribly. He treats other people terribly, and all of those different things are catching up with him, as well as not taking care of himself just in general. And so, when Biden, when Biden makes these jokes, of course it's not going to help him because all it's doing is just emphasizing the very thing that people are concerned about, which is this crazed old fogey that's going to be wandering around and drifting around the White House, not knowing where the hell he's at. Like, you're just solidifying that thought in people's minds. I mean, what the hell kind of strategy is this? You want to try to like highlight the good things about you, not the things that people are quite literally seeing in you on a daily basis. So, I think it's an obvious answer.
Jay-Z says, when Koolfrogg speaks, it's like velvet. When America's Shirt speaks, it's like glass shattered in an alley at 2 a.m.
Glad I could help. Glad I could. Glad I could help. That's all I'm gonna say.
I knew that Joe would always be the education president.
God have mercy on us all.
I knew that Joe would always be the education president.
Where's the clip? Where's the clip?
Did I not play it? I always knew that Joe would be the education president.
He's so educated. He loves educating the children. He just absolutely loves it. He can't help himself. Of course, he loves children in general.
So here's the article that came from. It says breakfast tacos are smarter than her. Only a rapid partisan hack would associate the mentally inept and corrupt Joe Biden with education that includes his controlling wife, Dr. Jill. When speaking of far-left National Education Association on Wednesday, Jill took a moment to proclaim that she and her husband would always be the education president. Or her husband would always be the education president? Why? Because you're Dr. Jill Biden, education savant, I guess. I don't know what the fuck you are, you piece of shit. Beyond laughably implying that Joe Biden has a brain, the new report proves America's children are almost as lost as Joe and her. The National Assessment of Educational Progress revealed that the average test scores for 13-year-old students in both math and reading have fallen multiple points during Biden's reign of terror. Scores in October and December of 22 and 23 school years fell by about 4 points in reading, 9 points in mathematics compared to just 3 years ago. The Daily Caller notes the test scores are at a historic low. Beyond the falling scores, children are suffering severe learning loss thanks to Biden regime's education policies. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin's fact-checked Jill Wednesday during the interview with Fox News noted that the regime pressured schools to shut down. This caused a massive learning loss across America. The money quote from Youngkin, well, I hate to say that, I think she may be the only person who believes that. Glenn Youngkin says straight out, she's the only person that believes the words that just came out of her own mouth. Conservatives had a barrel of fun on the slow Joe and Jill's expense. If I only had a brain. Yeah, if the guy really seriously had a brain, he may actually do something. Well, Jill thinks she's a doctor. Joe Biden can call Joe Biden education president for anything else she wants. Nobody will know what the hell she's talking about, including Joe, who's lost some space. Anyway, who knew he's also the cocaine president? Actual breakfast
right.
This last one is freaking hilarious. Actual breakfast tacos are literally smarter than this group or her.
Oh my God, the tacos, the tacos.
The breakfast tacos. Go ahead.
I know Joe Biden. I got it here. I got it here. Because Joe Biden just loves to educate all the children about American history because he's just so smart. He's so intelligent, ladies and gentlemen. He's just got it all down.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
He's just
You know the thing.
he's just got it all down. He is the education president. He's got it all. He's got it all, and his wife's very proud. He's proud as a wife can be.
Maybe she's planning his epitaph. He was an educator. No. The end is nearer than thought. No, he was not ever an educator. There's one thing.
That was a lie.
There was
that
one
he
thing
came up
that came
with.
out that he was supposedly an educator was a lie. It was a straight up lie, and it's not ever been true that he's ever an educator of
at the
anything.
legal college, this or that, whatever.
Yep.
It's like no, you weren't.
No, you weren't. No. A couple other things here. Schiff uses House censure to haul in $8 million for Senate run. Yes, Schiff is actually going to run for Feinstein's Senate seat.
Look at this crazy crown. Look at those eyes. Again, the eyes. The eyes. He's insane. He's a crazy person.
Adam Schiff, Democrat of California, raked in $8.1 million as Senate bid during the second quarter fundraising, despite being censured by the House's role in Russiagate hoax. Schiff, who is running the Senator Dianne Feinstein's California Senate seat, which is set to open in 2024, was condemned by his colleagues last month for misleading the American public for conduct on becoming an elected member of the House of Representatives. The vote was 213 to 209. I actually have that recorded. I actually sat there with a Moose Maneuver. The whole thing. It was hilarious. We got so many views. It was great. As the chair of House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff launched an all-out political campaign built on the baseless distortions against the sitting U.S. president and the expansion of every single citizen in the country in the honor of the House of Representatives, said Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, Republican out of Florida, who introduced the censure resolution. However, it seems the censure motivated Democrats to contribute to Schiff's campaign. Politico reported on Wednesday that Schiff's campaign recruited more than 144,000 unique donors in the second quarter, as well as 233,000 donations from all 50 states and 58 California counties. The average donation was $34. 98% of the contributions coming in is in under 200. Schiff is quick to use his House censure as a fundraising tool, claiming he is being attacked by the GOP for standing up to former President Donald Trump. This is a badge of honor, he has said in the statement after the vote. They go after people that are effective. Wrong. I exposed the corruption of the former president. Wrong. I led the first impeachment trial for former president in first bipartisan vote to remove a president. Wrong. Immediately after the House held his vote, congressional Democrats rallied around Schiff, chanting "Adam, Adam, Adam." Because
Again, imagine the crazy eyes while all this is happening.
Why would they Adam, Adam?
Just think of the crazy eyes.
Stupid. Schiff's biggest primary opponent for the race, Katie Porter, Democrat of California's successful first quarter, bringing in $4.5 million. Why does it matter about the number of dollars that they're actually pulling in? It should have nothing to do with it. It should only be what they're actually good at, and if their skills actually put them to the point of actually being the person that should actually be a senator. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California, endorsed Schiff over Porter for the California Senate seat earlier this year. Of course she did. Why wouldn't she? She loves Shifty Schiff. I know there's a lot left here. Justice Thomas champions our colorblind Constitution. You can veto any of this. Just be like, don't do that one. I don't want you to read it. And forbidding the use of race-based performances in university admissions, the Supreme Court held that every student must be treated based on their experiences as an individual, not on the basis of race. Nothing should ever be based on the basis of race, ever. For anybody to actually speak of such a thing and point fingers at somebody makes them, in fact, the racist, in my opinion. And I'm really seriously sick of it. I'm so sick of people actually pointing fingers and saying, oh my God, look, they're all colorblind. They can't see. They can't see what's actually happening when they actually can. They're appointed for this job for a reason. And I believe that they're the only ones that are actually keeping us from actually sinking any further than what the United States already has. In addition to Chief Justice John Roberts' majority opinion, Justice Clarence Thomas wrote a magisterial concurring opinion explaining that the Constitution is quite properly colorblind. The case featured dueling views of the Constitution and race. One of the Justice Thomas's views in the Constitution forbids racial classification of people. He holds out enduring hope that his country will live up to the principles so clearly enunciated in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States, that all men are created equal, are equal citizens, and must be treated equally before the law. So, he's not lying. He's not lying. I'm not going to actually continue with this particular article. I don't think it's necessary. I think we all kind of understand what is actually happening. And they're actually trying to, race base almost anything and everything they possibly can.
And this is really interesting too. This whole thing with the Supreme Court is that, and Robert Barnes was talking about this past Sunday, is that the implications of this apply to all kinds of other areas too, because in an applications process, when you apply for a college or a job or anything, they're always wanting to know your race. They're always wanting to know your ethnicity and your ethnic background or your color or your whatever. This essentially says that is by default unconstitutional. You don't have to put that down at all.
As you never should. Sadly, when I usually apply for jobs, because I'm a white man, I usually end up putting other to actually get interviews. You land more interviews that way. It's amazing. It's amazing how many interviews you can actually land by doing just so. It's sad. It's sad that we have to actually go that far to actually do such a thing. Coffee stopover will try to take you with me, but if unsuccessful, until next time. You have a good one, Cake.
Yeah, nice to see you. Long time no see, Cake.
Democrats, Republicans step up with student loan debt plans. Everybody has got a plan to actually go ahead and try to eliminate student loans and remove student debt. Really seriously, as a person that still owes on student loans, don't feel it's fair that you must pay for my loans if it actually comes down to it. As the Biden administration's plan to erase over $400 billion in federal student loan debt failed by the U.S. Supreme Court, both Democrats and Republicans are saying that they have an answer to help the looming student loan default crisis. To fulfill the campaign promises, President Joe Biden has pledged that he will still push through a blanket student debt cancellation, but using a different legal authority to do so. Republican lawmakers are championing that what they say is a fiscally responsible, targeted alternative to Mr. Biden's plan to focus on making it easier for borrowers to transit back into repayment. Biden's plan B, Mr. Biden's plan would forgive up to $10,000 in student loan debt for those earning over $125,000, another $10,000 for Pell Grant recipients who met the income limit, was originally relying on what's known as the HEROES Act, a law passed in aftermath of September 11th terrorist attacks. Congress passed the first version of the HEROES Act in 2001, allowing the Education Secretary to waive or modify federal student loan rules from those affected by the attack. The law then expanded in 2003 to cover borrowers affected by the war, military operation, national emergency, as the Secretary deems necessary. The law defines the affected individuals as someone who is serving an active military duty, who lives in a disaster area, or who has suffered direct economic hardship as a direct result of national emergency. The Biden administration argued that this would allow the Secretary to cancel student loans in response to the COVID-19. However, the High Court wasn't convinced that the HEROES Act would give the Biden administration authority to implement such a far-reaching plan. The HEROES Act does not allow the Secretary to rewrite the statute to the extent of canceling $430 billion in student loan principal. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote in a 6-3 majority, noting that the modifications outlined in Biden's plan created a novel and fundamentally different loan forgiveness program that expanded forgiveness to nearly every borrower in the country. Hours after the Supreme Court ruling, Mr. Biden commented from the White House that he would find a new legal basis for the debt cancellation, a second attempt to rely on Higher Education Act in 1965, which was said includes a mechanism to allow the Education Secretary to compromise, waive, or release loans under certain circumstances. Today's decision was closed one path. The president said, now we're going to pursue another. We'll use every tool at our disposal to get you the student debt relief you need. The HEA has been proven the constitutionally sound tool of debt relief. In April, the Supreme Court declined to take the request of Block Education Secretary Miguel Cardona from using the HEA authority to wipe out $6 billion in student loan debt owed by borrowers who claimed they didn't receive the kind of education their school had promised. However, it takes a different process to cancel student loan debt using the HEA. Since the older law doesn't involve any emergency authority, they might allow the government to bypass a typical lengthy, tedious rule-making procedure before any changes can come from the effect under the HEA. It usually has to first undergo many rounds of public hearings and months-long comment periods that require an extensive amount of public input. On July 5th, the Education Department announced a formal beginning of negotiated rulemaking process for the establishment of new student loan cancellation plan. We announce our intention to establish negotiated rulemaking committee to prepare proposed regulations for the federal student loan aid programs authorized under Title IV of the Higher Education Act 1965. Mr. Cardona said in the statement, we intend to convene a committee to develop proposed regulations pertaining to topics which relate to the modification, waiver, or compromise of federal student loans. The committee will include representatives of organizations and groups with interests that are significantly affected by the subject matter of the proposed regulations. The department will start accepting public comments and will convene its first formal negotiated rulemaking meeting on July 18th. Republican alternatives. Prior to last month's Supreme Court ruling that struck down Mr. Biden's plan, a group of House Republicans introduced their own plan, which will be to ensure a smooth transition back into repayment, which will still provide relief for those most in need. The proposal, formerly called Federal Assistance Initiate Repayment, FAIR Act, is sponsored by Rep. Virginia Foxx, who chairs the House Education Committee, along with Reps. Burgess Owens and Lisa McClain. Among other things, the bill focuses on adjusting income-driven repayment plans in which the monthly payment amount is preliminary based on the student loan. Borrower's income and many remaining balances will be discharged at the end of the 20 or 25-year repayment term. Specifically, the Republican proposal would condense the 4 existing IDR plans into one predictable and affordable plan, requiring borrowers enrolled in the new IDR plan to recertify their income before payments resume and make sure that repayment assistance phases out as borrowers' incomes increase and they're able to repay their loans. When it comes to debt relief, the bill will eliminate time-based discharge of the remaining loan balances and instead waive borrowers' remaining balances if they already paid back more than they originally owed taxpayers in principal and interest. I don't believe that the interest should actually be something that should be tacked onto it. I really don't. It's something that was borrowed to actually, make you a better person, not make you put you in debt for the rest of your life. It would also give defaulted borrowers a second chance to re-enroll in a repayment plan, removing the black mark of default from the credit report as long as they make the required monthly payments. That's good to know. That's good to know. I might get my black mark taken off of my freaking shit as long as I can continue to make my payments that I've been making. More importantly, the bill would prevent the Biden administration from moving forward with his proposed IDR changes, which critics say is so generous that it would turn a loan program into a quasi-grant program. These changes include a September 2022 analysis by economist Adam Luna, University of Utah, would in effect allow borrowers to only pay back less than 50 cents for every dollar they borrow. The FAIR Act is fiscally responsible, targeted response to the chaos caused by Biden's student loan scam. The Republican solution takes important steps to fix the broken student loan system, provided borrowers with clear guidance on repayment, and protect taxpayers from economic fallout caused by the administration's radical free college agenda. In the Senate, Republicans are proposed lowering education costs and debt act, a 5-bill package aimed at providing students and families with better information in the hope to understand and carefully compare their options before borrowing what they might not be able to pay back. As far as debt relief acts go, I disagree with all of them. I don't think anybody should actually be able to say, well, we're going to actually make this easier for you by actually taking this, that, and the other. Other than the fact that I disagree with. Hello. How are you? I disagree with interest rates. Interest rates on student loans should be something that they may think of looking at and changing in the future. Jay-Z picking on you, man.
I'm just glad I can, help him out and give him some peace and comfort in his life,
No thoughts on the student loan stuff? All right. House Freedom Caucus ousts Margie Taylor Greene after clash with Lauren Boebert. So
now this
the little bitch comment that was made last week, because Lauren Boebert went ahead and did what she did to throw articles of impeachment as opposed to actually co-signing Margie Taylor Greene's that she had posted the first day. So I mean, she called her names. So then it's like some infighting, I guess. Representative Margie Taylor Greene has been ousted from the House Freedom Caucus after she called Representative Lauren Boebert, the fellow caucus member, a little bitch. Representative Andy Harris told Politico a vote for taking to remove Margie Taylor Greene from the House Freedom Caucus for some of the things she's done. Harris did not say how he voted, told the outlet her removal has an appropriate decision. I think the way she referred to a fellow member was probably not the way we expect our members to refer to our fellow, especially female members. Harris told the outlet, apparently referring to Greene's fight with Boebert on the House floor. Politico asked Maryland Republican if Greene's position in the debt bill or her support for the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy factored into the decision, and Harris replied, I think all of that mattered. I think the straw that broke the camel's back was publicly saying things about another member in terms that no one should. An unnamed Republican lawmaker confirmed the vote at Daily Beast and said that his disparaging fellow members is frowned upon. One lawmaker told the outlet Boebert is against Greene's removal because she felt it would go against Greene's right to freedom of speech. The vote marks the first time the caucus has formally removed a member. Formally removed.
I think this was building with the whole Kevin McCarthy thing this time around, and how she just blindly supported him, and then how she still just blindly supports everything he says and does. And there are several other different things as well that, as much as I may have liked her in the past, perhaps she has been misrepresenting herself this whole time. Not sure. But it is certainly looking that way as the days continue. And I think that some of these people are seeing this and they're just like, yeah, no, we're done. We're parting ways. Because you're not really supporting Freedom Caucus stuff. You're supporting Kevin McCarthy and the Rhinos more than us. So why are you even in our group?
Nanders Manbun says, I'm here for the caucus. Good to see you, dear. Good to see you. America sure. It's just so funny. A dormant California lake has reappeared. Isn't going anywhere fast. Tulare Lake, which refilled for the first time in 40 years after atmospheric river storms pummeled California, would take at least a year to evaporate entirely, experts say.
Oops.
Oh. Oops. I hope you weren't using that area for anything. Oh, it looks like they kind of were. It looks like there's a grove of trees. The once dormant California lake resurrected this year's extreme sequence of storms. It won't disappear anytime soon. I really don't need to read through this. I don't think. I think it's. I thought it was just something that was kind of interesting that would hit the news cycle or whatever. That hey, oh look, things are actually turning back around. Good thing global climate change is a thing. Oh. Take this dang thing away. Conservatives are promoting a false narrative that suspect charged in a mass shooting in Philadelphia is transgender. Kim Brady Carricker, this young person that we had spoke of yesterday, was arraigned on Wednesday morning on 5 counts of murder, attempted murder, aggravated assault, and weapons counts in possession. She's actually now all of a sudden being looked at is being, misgendered potentially, as she's not transgender, or he is accused of killing a man in a house and then gunning down 4 others in the street on Monday. Before Carricker's name was released to authorities, however, some Republican lawmakers were posting on social media labeling the suspect as transgender. Conservative figures are increasingly seeking to blame mass shootings on trans people at a time when a record number of anti-LGBTQ plus bills have been introduced in state legislatures. After the Philadelphia shooting, some commentators pointed to the authorities' use of gender-neutral pronouns to refer to Carricker. Others jumped to the conclusion that he is a trans from the New York Post, and other outlets published photos of a now-deleted Facebook page that showed him with the long braided hair and wearing women's clothing. When law enforcement officers did use they/them pronouns as a suspect during a news conference on Tuesday, but at the same event, District Attorney Larry Krasner repeatedly referred to Carricker as a man. It's a man. It's a man. They've decided to not be a woman any longer. They're no longer trans. Is just a man that has gone out and committed a crime. He's a black man that's gone out and committed a crime. He might be able to get away with it now. The Republican lawmakers repeatedly been criticizing anti-LGBTQ plus sentiment and spreading conspiracy theories. Newsweek has contacted Green and further comment. Secure America Now, conservative nonprofit for 3 million followers on Facebook, posted on Wednesday that the Philadelphia suspect has been revealed as a trans Black Lives Matter activist Vice News has reviewed Carricker's Facebook account before it was deleted, reported aside from the handful of pictures with braided hair, there was no evidence on the page that Carricker was transgender. So now we just don't know what it is. We just don't know what it is. It's a murder. It's a murder. Because we're speaking of transgendered issues, CDC releases guidance for males who want to breastfeed infants. Stop it. Disgusting. Can transgender parents who have had breast surgery breastfeed or chest feed their infants? No, they absolutely can't. I don't care what CDC says. CDC has published a website guidance for people who identify as trans and non-binary and how to chest feed infants. The CDC's website now has information on how to feed children for biological women who had their breasts removed as part of the gender reassignment surgeries, and for biological men taking hormones in order to grow breasts. The CDC website section, Infants and Young Children Feeding Toolkit, under healthy equity considerations, is stated that transgender and non-binary gender individuals may give birth and breastfeed or feed at the chest feed. The agency added that the gender identity of expression of transgender individuals is different from their sex at birth, noting that the gender identity of non-binary gendered individuals does not fit neatly into either man or woman. Under the website's breastfeeding section, discussing the breastfeeding for those who have undergone surgeries, the agency used the term chest feeding. Additionally, the health agency wrote, can transgender parents who have the breast surgery breastfeed or chest feed their infants? The response was yes, adding the explanation that some transgender parents who have had breast top surgery may wish to breastfeed or chest feed, a term used by some transgenders and non-binary parents and their infants. Healthcare providers working with these families should be familiar with medical, emotional, and social aspects of gender transitions to provide optimal family-centered care and meet the nutritional needs of the infant. I doubt those are actually being met. There's no way that nutritional needs are being met with something that isn't true. There's no way. There's no freaking way that anybody can tell me that this is actually true and this is actually how it's going to work. The CDC also stated that transgender parents may need help with maximizing milk production, supplement as pasteurized donor human milk or formula medication to induce lactation, or avoiding medications that inhibit lactation, suppressing lactation for those choosing not to breastfeed or chest feed, and finding appropriate lactation management support, peer support, and or emotional support. Maybe some mental support might be needed as well. You just never know. Daily Mail reported that the recommendation apply on biological men who, after taking hormone drugs, can produce their own breast milk, and that the FDA has warned that one of these drugs, doprodone, can pass into breast milk in small amounts and can sometimes give babies an irregular heartbeat as a result. You don't say. Dr. Jane Orient, executive director of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, told all that the CDC is responsibility to talk about health risks, but they have been derelict in doing that. She added, we have no idea what the long-term effects of the child will be if trans parents are using all kinds of off-label hormones. The idea behind off-label means that the drug is being used in a different purpose than what it was approved for. The report noted that there is some medication necessary to induce lactation in trans women that have not been approved for boosting milk production in the U.S. In 2004, advisory stated in response to the reports that women are using an unapproved drug, doprodone, To increase milk production, the Food and Drug Administration is warning breastfeeding women not to use this product because of safety concerns. No problem. Just let the guys do what they want to do. Ugh. The Daily Mail also reported that experts have cautioned trans women from using what's known as the Newman-Goldfarb protocol, which includes consuming a cocktail of drugs to allow one to lactate. The long-term health implications of such a treatment is not known, and neither for adults nor babies. New York-based physician Dr. Stuart Fisher told the Daily Mail that there's been very hard to believe that the breast milk, which naturally occurs in biological females, is the same as the breast milk created by hormone medication in biological men. Like, noting that if it's been tested in a handful of times, how would we know the long range effect? How will we know the long range effect? Well, we won't. We won't. We won't know. We're not going to know. We won't know for a few more years, just like we didn't know about Koof. We had no clue. We had no clue. There was no testing on kids or whatever. It was just, here you go. Here it is. Let's go. Take it. Again, men cannot breastfeed. I don't care what the CDC says. They're wrong. They're so wrong. And for them to continue to push such a ridiculous thought is disturbing. Speaking of disturbing things, did you have any thoughts on that last? Oh, I didn't think so.
Not really. I mean, I think we all know it's just this crazy, insane death cult depopulation people that don't give a flying flip about the health of anyone else and even themselves, because they hate themselves. They want to destroy themselves, and they want to harm their own children if they have children. So
this one down. I'm going to take that one down. That one wasn't worthwhile. Anders Manben says, how about the long-term effects of men trying to breastfeed a child? I think it might be just as disturbing and mentally incapacitating as most anything else. Gross. Stop it. 15-year-old boy wakes up naked on the ground after being knocked out and sexually assaulted by 2 women in the UK. It's UK news, so it should have been at the beginning. But then I'm like, it's news. It's not politics. It's not really government. It's kind of news, So it got pushed to the end. But yes, a 15-year-old boy wakes up naked. 15-year-old boy woke up naked on the ground after he was sexually assaulted and knocked out by 2 women in Sussex, England. The teen boy was walking down the lane when he was assaulted by 6'3", 5'9" women with dyed red hair and white blonde hair. Cops are on the hunt for 2 women who reportedly sexually assaulted a 15-year-old boy, leaving him naked and in pain. The teen was walking down Kent's Lane in West Sussex just before 6:15 p.m. yesterday and head towards the Woodland area. The spokesperson in Sussex Police confirmed the alleged sexual assault victim woke on the ground with his clothes had been taken off. He had been suffered injuries to his head and body. Both women were described as being around 18 to 20 years old. One had bright red hair, wore glasses, and the other was around 6'3" tall. She was reportedly wearing blue shorts and black crop top and pink Air Jordan trainers. The other one was described as having long white blonde hair, stood around 5'9", and spoke in a Merseyside accent. I doubt that this dude really seriously was assaulted by these 2 women and didn't like it. really find it very disturbing to believe that this is true. That a 15-year-old boy was potentially raped by an 18 and 20-year-old women. Yeah, 6'3" is very tall for a woman. That's for sure. I'm with you on that one. Go ahead. I'm just like, what the heck? I just it couldn't. I could not actually speak about this particular article. It was just kind of like, huh? I doubt this happened. Does this one seem right? So you remember Ben and Jerry, right? We talked about them yesterday. With their little goings on within the last few days. Ben and Jerry's co-founder arrested in Assange vigil. Activists gathered in Washington deemed the release of in-prison WikiLeaks publisher, businessman Ben Cohen, and several Code Pink activists were arrested on Thursday outside the U.S. Department of Justice after demanding the release of in-prison WikiLeaks publisher Julian Assange from a British jail. Unless things change and unless we change them, freedom of press is going to be up in smoke. Cohen told the small group of activists gathered outside the DOJ building were setting fire to a prop labeled the Bill of Rights. There's no democracy without the freedom of the press because the press is the only thing that can hold the government accountable. He added, it's just like, where have you been, Ben? Are you just finally now coming around to the point of actually realizing that freedom of speech was always something that should have actually been fought for? I really seriously find it interesting how they go one day pushing for some leftist agenda to the next day trying to actually go ahead and get arrested, pushing for the likeness of somebody like Assange to be released from UK prison. It's kind of strange. Just kind of strange. That's all. I'm going to actually stop sharing the screen for a minute because I want to be sure what's up next. Okay. All right. These last few things, I got a couple of videos. That's why I wanted to be sure where I was at. So getting down to the end here. Gang of teens in ski mask wielding batons violently attacked mothers in San Francisco to steal their cell phones. Reports out of the crime-ridden San Francisco reveal that it's not just downtown of the Tenderloin that are having issues with crime, but the high class at Noe Valley has also seen an uptick in violence. Most of these are muggings of women by a gang of teenagers in ski masks wielding batons. The thieves follow them, hit them, and push them into the ground, then make off with cell phones, and the phones are often in use and unlocked when they are stolen, giving thieves access to data and financial information. The teens have been attacking mothers and nannies, pushing strollers, stealing their cell phones. One woman who was a victim of the attack said that she was shoved to the ground aggressively. She was pushing an empty stroller when she was attacked while en route to retrieve her daughter from daycare. This is just a phone snatch situation. This is targeted violent attack against moms and caretakers. She said another woman was punched in the head. Another one was followed to a cafe by a young man. The group has suspected 11 thefts over just 1 week in the end of June. Captain San Francisco Police Department Mission District Station Thomas Harvey said, so far, only one suspect has been arrested. Police say that they're still looking for additional suspects. Robberies are up in the city by the Bay by nearly 12%. Due to the age of arrested suspects, a minor, no further information has been released. that these new attacks are specifically carried out against women, upper-class women, and their helpers at that. Has Catherine Stefani and the Board of Supervisors concerned? I am incredibly alarmed by this and think it is highlights of this need to be increased police presence in the area, especially given that it's happening in No Valley. Ensuring the security and well-being of residents, particularly women, is top priority for me, and I have asked SFPD to step up patrols in the area. San Francisco Board of Supervisors member Raphael Mendelman said the gang of teens were likely assaulting mothers and stealing their phones due to the pandemic and the effect that had on schools. What happened with kids not being in school? I think there may be something going on with that. We're going to be experiencing for a while. These couple of years where the school, you can't blame it on just the schools. You got to blame it on the government that actually went ahead and shut schools. Those couple of years in the schools are radically non-existent. They're everything that under stress. Parents and caregivers were under stress. That was probably impacting vulnerable communities more anyway. Victims were accused San Francisco Police Department of having zero interest in solving the cases, with some resorting to trying to track down suspects themselves via phone tracing apps. They're actually going to go after themselves. You continue to fuck around with people and don't protect them. Eventually, the people actually take up for themselves. Eventually, the people take up for themselves and they'll actually do what they need to actually do what's best. Like I said, we're getting down to the end here. Last few things. So, there's these couple of guys that were actually caught stealing hundreds of dollars worth of laundry soaps and whatnot. These guys right here that were caught on video, they're going to get away with their crimes.
Damn, these guys are good. Look at them stealing. Really, bro? You got to resort to this? Economy's not that bad.
You got to resort to this. The economy's not that bad. Well, what it comes down to is the young man that actually did the filming. Supermarket employee fired for recording 3 men stealing $500 worth of laundry detergent. The Colorado supermarket employee was fired for the record after he recorded 3 men stealing approximately $500 worth of laundry detergent from the store on Father's Day. Santonio Barella, the King Soopers employee, was alerted to a theft in progress at the store, and the first thing he thought to do was to pull out his phone and record it. When it looked like there were already a guy halfway headed out the door with a cart full of laundry detergents and scent boosters and what have you, my first instinct was to record. As Barella, a former military police officer, walked out of the store, the 3 thieves hurried to load up the black Chevy Trax, one opening the doors, another throwing a basket full of items into the back seat, and another struggling to unload the full shopping cart. Really, bro? You got to resort to this? The economy isn't that bad. It is kind of that bad, but, it's only going to get worse as, more and more crimes like this happen. Better getting, while the getting's good, as the 3 Stooges attempted to flee the parking lot, the getaway driver, a little faster than the 2 still outside the car, who had trouble getting into the vehicle. What allowed Barella to yank the sheet of foil covering the license plate. After a man got into the car and left the area, Barella called the police, later sharing the video on social media, which helped out the investigators. So I posted a TikTok hoping that somebody would recognize them, said Barella, but the video was 1.5 million times, including by rapper Snoop Dogg. While Barella returned to the store for the next shift, he learned that he had been suspended and a week later fired. I almost think that we should actually, put up some kind of fund for this young man that actually just lost his job to the ignorance of these assholes thinking it's okay to continue to steal shit. Me and my union rep sat down with them and recommended termination. I would never let the criminal conduct slide, especially when it's happening right in front of me. Brother said he didn't break any rules or touch the thieves. All he was doing was trying to help the community. Did I feel that I overstepped boundaries? Not really, because it didn't physically touch them or alter their shoplifting in any way. I just revealed the license plate to help the community to be aware, the police be aware, and help better catch them. Investigators already identifying the rest of the driver, Jorge Pantoja, 32, and the man in the green shirt is the Aparajo Sheriff's Office said in the statement. Pantoja was currently in custody at the Adams County Detention Facility for unrelated felony charges. He has also been charged with theft, shoplifting, a Class 2 misdemeanor. Of why, this guy that actually took camera footage of this is actually being removed from his job for any reason whatsoever is ridiculous. I think that he did as much as he possibly could to actually try stopping these people. This, you can see, it's a very lengthy article. There you go. It's not given severance pay. They're planning to move to Florida to be closer to family. There is a GoFundMe for this particular person in this article. There is a way to actually go ahead and support them, or support him in his venture in life, as he had just lost a job to the ridiculousness of some other people. America shirts.
I am barely here.
You're barely here. Okay, well, we're almost done. We're almost done. Something happened.
Really?
Yeah, something happened.
It did.
It may actually, I really don't think this is actually copyright, able to be copywritten. I really don't think so. I'll deal with the copyright if that's the case. But this young lady goes ahead and sings our national anthem. With the wrong words. With the wrong words. Now, again, I disagree with this young lady and what she had done. Mimsy, sad state of affairs? Yes, sad state of affairs. The whole country, anything and everything that we've actually gone through in the recent past or whatever, within the last even 20 years, is disturbing. It's very hard to actually realize that we've actually dumbed ourselves down to actually being the country that we are. Either way, let's listen to it. It's 2 minutes 17 seconds to actually get through this. It's kind of cringe, and we can try talking over it a little bit if you want, because I'm sure you're going to have some choice words to go along with the words she chose.
Oh, say, can you see by the blood in the stream?
Charlemagne says, wow, she's not young, and that's not a lady.
I would agree. I would actually agree.
That this place doesn't smile on you, colored child, whose blood built this land with sweat and their hands. But you'll die in this place, and your This is not the land of the free, but the home of the slave.
Says the fat, groveling, potentially male individual on a stage with bleached teeth, jewelry, lights all over the place, blasting this out literally everywhere, has a whole thing about this, claiming she's a slave.
Yep.
The level of gaslight and hypocrisy and literally everything, it's so off the charts. The outright denial of reality is so horrifically bad.
So then,
I mean, like, she had sparkly makeup on. Did you see the size of those earrings?
I did.
But, you know, hey, this is the land of the slave. Your memory will be erased. Da da da. I know, because, like, you know, we have all of these famous musicians that are African American, and every American treasures all of those people. But see, we won't treasure you because you are terrible. So, you know, I mean, I've never even heard of you until just now,
Well,
and I'm
okay,
already
so
disgusted.
let me introduce you real quick. This is singer
Oh
Jill
God,
Scott.
mercy.
Singer Jill Scott, the Grammy award-winning singer and songwriter, was slammed on social media for changing the lyrics to the national anthem during the recent performance of Essence Fest. Well, say, can you see by the bloods in the street that the place doesn't smile on you, colored child, whose blood built this land with sweat and other hands, but you'll die in this place and your memory erased. Scott sang into the microphone.
I know she's saying it's just like everybody's trapped. It's like, well, then why don't you take your money,
Well, see, that's
move
the
to
thing.
Africa,
That's the
and
thing
then
is
like
she
set up
has
some
money.
huge big organization to be like, oh no, save the poor black people of America. Let's bring them back to Africa where they truly have their needs met, right?
Yeah, back to the
As
people that
though
sold
the
them. There you go.
Africans in
That's a
Africa
smart way
want
to do
these
it.
selfish,
Let's
entitled
bring them
people
back to
over there
the place that
wrecking their place.
sold them. That would totally make so much sense. I'm with you on that. Let's do it. How stupid. Oh, say, can you see? Does the truth hold you weight? This is not the land of the free, but the home of the slaves. Social media users quickly took to Twitter to lambast Scott for desecrating the national anthem, many of them pointing out that she has acquired an estimated net worth of about $12 million in the country she apparently loathes. A woke rendition of national anthem where she's changed the lyrics to speak about how oppressed black people are, former Republican congressional candidate Laverne Spicer wrote. She says this is not the land of the free, but the home of the slave. For reference, Jill Scott's net worth is estimated at $12 million and is likely much higher. In what way is she oppressed? Spicer added. Irony, a woman with a net worth of over $12 million is singing in a packed Caesars Superdome about how bad you have it in America. Another echoed. Jill Scott performed with the Cringe and Essence Festival in New Orleans, an exclusively black event that celebrates black artists and black women. Home of the slave, huh? Another quipped, adding to the screenshot, the image shows Scott's net worth had to be $12 million. She should move to anywhere else and see how bad she has it here. Another commented, I hear Afghanistan is nice.
I mean, and that's the thing, is like, if she actually believes that America is that horrific and that everything is that terrible, and you all are still slaves and everything is still terrible and everything is so evil for black people or whatever, like I said before, then she should take her money and go send up a fund and start moving to Africa, and then move everybody else to Africa. And then that way you won't have this problem. And then they all can be free and they all can be remembered and all this stuff and da da da. A funny thing is, she doesn't do any of that because she doesn't believe it. She will just pontificate and desecrate the national anthem of the United States, patronize everyone on a stage and tell you how terrible you are, while she walks away with millions of dollars because she doesn't actually believe a word of what she says. She's just told by her superiors, stir up the racial pot of crap. That's what this is all about.
Great Liquor says, yep, totally agrees with you. Michael Hagen says these people are free to pick the country they want on Earth, and then they try to immigrate there if they'll accept them, because most countries have borders.
Yeah, and I mean, like
They
I was
really
saying
do.
about the whole, like, moving them to Africa. Again, none of these African nations want a bunch of selfish, entitled people that are just like, yeah, I'm going to move from America to this third world country and then stand around and be like, yeah, I want to be given handouts and I want to be given this. Like, most of these places are developing nations that actually like want to make some progress here and actually like get on the ball and like get rolling here and get some like, wealth going on here. They don't need people like you weighing them down anyway. So, in fact, none of us need people like you weighing us down. So why don't you like step aside and shut the hell up, basically? Because black people in Africa don't want you there. So stop being selfish and entitled and full of yourself and spreading lies and bullshit and trying to desecrate everything around you. How about that?
Yeah. All good options, choices.
And I mean, again,
of course,
the people that complain about slavery the most do not want to help a single child in sex slavery today. They don't care about it. They don't talk about it. They don't want anything to do with it. It's the biggest hypocritical thing ever. There are more slaves in this world now than there has been in the transatlantic slave trade, or possibly in any other time in history. But yet, who cares? Don't talk about that. We'll tell you to go watch Indiana Jones rather than Sound of Freedom, right? Like, I mean, this is just showing you how fake and phony these people are. They don't care about a damn thing but themselves. And they just want to be given a handout. And so they'll stand up on a stage and be like, give me more of your money. While there are children being passed around 8 times a day to be raped as sex slaves. But whatever. Let's not talk about that. No. Let's talk about slavery that happened well over 150, 160, whatever, however many years ago the Civil War was.
Right.
Let's talk about that people in this country fought, bled, and died to make stop, that helped to inspire to make stop, had a whole political party that brought about coalitions within itself to put an end to it constitutionally, officially. And by the way, there were already legal arguments at the time saying that we don't even need an amendment to the Constitution to say that slavery is illegal because of the way the Constitution is drafted and the Declaration of Independence was drafted. Slavery is already kind of by default illegal in the United States. Those arguments were already being made earlier on by someone by the name of Frederick Douglass. who was the first African American, the first Black American to run for political office, to run for the presidency underneath of the Abolition Party, which is someone this woman does not know and does not care about. Again, oh, she wants to talk about erasing people's memory. What about all of those people in the past that were like Frederick Douglass, who were like, like all the other different people, all the other different Black Americans in the past that did so many different things and accomplished so many different things? Does she know their names? Does she talk about them? Does she bring them up? Of course not, because it's about division, racial strife, and America's evil, so you should hate it. See, this is what they're doing in Europe. This is what they've been doing in Europe with the Black Africans that have moved up into Europe, and the other different Middle Easterners and so forth that have moved into Europe, particularly in France, like we were showing earlier. This is what that's about, is they indoctrinate these people. They flood into place with migrants, and then they indoctrinate them, and they say that the white man is bad, aka that guy standing over there on the street corner getting a hot dog, that's the guy you should go after. Not the rich white elite person that's taking all the money from everybody. No. Don't look at them. Look at the white guy across the street. That's your enemy, right? Says the white elitist freakazoid, right? And so that's what they tell the people in France that come in. That's what they brainwash them with, and that they are totally entitled to set up an Islamic caliphate in Europe like they wanted to do centuries and centuries, millennia ago, when they were beaten back by the great Charles Martel in the Battle of Tours, and in France, when the Moors, the Muslims, tried to push up through into France and destroy everything. And they had a huge Muslim slave trade, taking all kinds of different Europeans into slavery into North Africa and Arabia and the Middle Eastern areas. So yeah, I mean, this is what these global elite people do, and they bring these people in, and then they take other racial groups like here in America.
Charlemagne. Mm-hmm.
No. The battle there was Martel. Charlemagne's later. Pretty sure. We can look this up, but yeah, I mean, this is what they do, and then they stir up other racial groups into the same,
otherwise known as Charles the Great was Charlemagne, wasn't he? Says Ben Frill. I have no clue.
Charles Martel was before. Battle of Tours.
Charles the Great is indeed
Charles Martel, Battle of Tours. Legacy of Charles Martel, Battle of Tours. Charles Martel stops Muslim expansion, Battle of Tours. 732 AD. The Merovingian Franks. So he's within the same Merovingian Frankish, kingdom that was being set up as Charlemagne, but Charlemagne is after Martel. This is before Charlemagne expanded the empire, the Frankish Empire there, and then breaks apart Europe into what we know as like France and Germany and so forth. And Italy.
Not saying you're wrong, but the second I go and I look up Charlemagne, so Charlemagne or Charles the Great, a member of the Carolingian dynasty, as king of the Franks in 768. So it kind of sounds like it's the same person.
Well, that's 768. That's after this. Charles Martel had already been ruling, and the Battle of Tours that I was talking about, like, the Muslim expansion, that's what I was trying to reference, is 732. So this is several decades after that. So he had already, passed, and the throne left from him, Martel. So anyways, but
Charles Martello. Charles the Hammer was a Frankish political military leader.
Yes,
who
the hammer. Right.
The Prince mayor of the palace.
There's a famous painting of the Battle of
was
Tours,
the
and I
de
believe he has a
facto
hammer in his hand.
ruler of Francia from 718 until his death. Okay.
Yeah, Charles Martel. Yeah, he's got there's the famous painting. Just pull it up.
Lots of
He's got the
Roman
hammer.
Catholicism going on at that time, for sure.
Well, I would argue it wouldn't be Roman Catholicism that we know today.
It's probably not the same, but no. But yeah, at the same
It
time,
would have been a more orthodox Christianity back then.
Well, that's funny because that's exactly what it said. He actually was Roman Catholic, Roman Catholic, which is the reason that I said it. The internet's wrong half the time, and the other time you have no clue if they're even telling you the truth. So,
indeed, it is.
Always think about that. Always think about that while you're actually going through things, and no matter what you do. Oh my God, this is hilarious! Oh, this is something that was actually set up, come out after. Being that I'm not going to be around for the next 3 days, I'm going to actually be on vacation. We're going to go camping. It should be a wonderful time. I'll just share this real quick here. Just because this is new, this is something so fresh and fun. Facebook's Twitter rival Threads started censoring conservatives as soon as it's launched.
Of course. Did you expect anything else, people? For the love of God, did you really expect anything else? Jeez. Man.
I'm like, oh my God. Of course he did. Of course he did. He went and he created something new and it's tanked.
By the way, I'm kind of amazed they actually did this. I don't know what kind of game is being played here with, like, Zuckerberg and Elon Musk is like, these are like two mafia bosses. It's just like, is Musk going to be the one to take control of the social media sphere with Twitter, or is Mark Zuckerberg going to make his own Twitter and then take it over and be like, see, globalist puppet masters, see, I'm the best one to take over this Twitter type of social media, and Musk is like, no, I'm the fake opposition. So like, who's going to win out here? I don't know. There's actually like a battle going on. And Musk has said that he's suing him, and to the point that he actually even wants to physically fight him. So that's also that's also interesting.
I seriously. Oh my Lord! Here, I'm just gonna show you this because I'm like, yeah, this is interesting. Let's see what this actually looks like. I went to threads.com here real quick. Here you go. Modern teams need more than just chat. You're not associated with Instagram. You're just your parent company's Meta. So yeah, no association. Mm-hmm. Thanks for letting us know.
No association at all. Thanks for misconstruing reality for us again.
Dumbasses. It looks similar to email. It doesn't really look like, according to what this shows. It looks
cringe.
Right. It doesn't look like a decent platform. It looks like shit.
It looks depressing.
Which
is exactly what Facebook wants you to be. So
it looks like email. So it seriously looks like an email inbox. You got your inbox, you got your drafts. Seriously, this here makes it look like it's freaking email. They took an email server and they're actually trying to make it something more than what it is. They're trying to repurpose an email server. That's funny.
Trying to advertise it like it's a Twitter alternative by calling it Threads. By the way, it's like a Twitter thread. So then they're gonna like, oh well, we're the actual thread or whatever. It's like, I mean, that's kind of pushing it there. That's real, like, digging into that kind of territory, which is why I guess Musk is wanting to sue. But anyway, oh yes, you were showing the picture of Mark Zuckerbucks there, and Vicky T's commented lizard eyes. Yes, Mark Zuckerberg is an AI robot with lizard eyes. Yes. I believe that's of official record at this point.
Mimsy agreed. It looks like email.
Yeah, it looks like Yahoo Mail or some like cringe crap. Like, ugh. Or like Gmail. Ugh.
I'm
Oy.
looking at the bottom here. It says for engineers, designers, product managers, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Blog, Twitter, pricing. AI. There's some interesting things to go along with this. In particular, still something because it's owned by Mark Zuckerberg. Though I do have an Instagram account, I really don't use it. I don't post it.
Oh my God.
I've closed my
oh, good
Facebook
God.
account a couple years ago. It does not exist.
Who the hell even
That
uses
being said,
Instagram
fuck
except for crazy
Threads. I mean,
narcissistic
maybe
freaks?
sign up for it just to sign up for it to whatever. But
I'm kidding though. I'm kidding. You know, there are people do post on Instagram funny pictures and things, whatever. I exaggerate a bit, but still. For kindergarten. I mean, if you want your kindergartner to be like depressed as crap and feel trapped, like yeah. That's what like most of the social media stuff is.
What?
Oh jeez.
Threads, a Slack replacement, not a social app for Instagram or from Instagram. But okay, so easy signups, continue with an email, use a Google account or a Slack account or a Discord. And I go to use the Koolfrogg at gmail.com, and it says please use a work email address. Excuse me. You're gonna tell me which email address I can use to actually use your bullshit site. If I can't use the one that I want to use, I don't think that I want your bullshit. Fuck off, Threads. So bad. So cringe. All right. All that being said, thank you all so very, very much for being here tonight. If you do anything, make sure you check out americashirtsaretfirst.com.
Only the most base t-shirts on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. Go check it out. I mean, if you haven't, I don't know why. Like, what? Why have you not? Like, this is kind of. I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, hello. Like, are you not? Do you not have an American shirt? Are you not up? Are you not kept up to date with the program here, folks? Like, I mean, like America shirts are like the best t-shirts ever. Like, if you want a t-shirt, like you're gonna throw out all the rest of your old t-shirts and just only wear America shirts. Like, it's that good. Like, you should totally grab them. Because hey, who knows? Like, they might just sell out. I don't know. Like, freaking grab them off the shelves while you can. Haha. Go grab the Abolish the Three-Letter Agencies t-shirts. They're new. They're great. Go to the website, the top of the page there. It says go to all t-shirts, see all the t-shirts. You just click that, it takes you right to the shop page, and everything is listed there. All of the shirts that I've made, they're all there. Go through it all, check it all out, people. And grab yourself one that you like, that fits with your style, your design, whatever. You want to put a little outfit together, whatever you want to do. Hey, everything's there. Put it together. Just just grab a t-shirt. I mean, it's summertime, people. Like, people need t-shirts. And, it's kind of old just walking around with the same freaking t-shirt every day. Like, gotta change it up some, change it up some, you know what I'm saying? So,
Know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, also check out America Shirts on Rumble. If you while you're over there, you look me up, Koolfrogg. You go over there, you hit the follow button over there. Anything ever happens here, we will continue to produce something there. Normally Friday nights we have fun nights. I will not be around. I am going camping. We'll be leaving early tomorrow, and it will not be back until sometime Sunday. Cannot tell you for sure what will happen Sunday night, what kind of show you'll get if you get one at all. Message will be sent on community tab. Again, thank you all so very, very much for being here. I appreciate you all so very much. Hit those support buttons in any way, shape, or form that you possibly can to support the channel.
And
We
if you
will
want to support
continue-
me, check out my website, of
Wow.
course, AmericaStreetSurfers.com.
Of course, you can always support him. That's the first and foremost. But what you should also do is this: you come here, you come support me, come support me. Eventually, if I can make enough money, I'll actually go buy some shirts myself, and maybe I'll appear on camera again wearing some America shirts. I know I promised this before, but sometimes I just haven't had and made the funds that I need to actually be able to have that kind of fun. I'm doing this thing. Again, thank you all so very much. We love you. You have a great night, day, morning. And smash that like button. Smash it like it's your friend. Make it feel good. Make it feel good. Let's see, what time is it? 1:15. I'm going to see if I can't actually get this to transfer to somebody else. You'll actually be redirected from here if it actually... Come on. If I can actually find someone to actually redirect you to, I will send you to Ranting Monkey. Send you to the Ranting Monkey. The Ranting Monkey is a fun one to actually go to. It looks like Clumsy Clairvoyance is actually running as well. Thank you all so very, very much for being here tonight. Love y'all. Later.